Johnson have been foremost among the Raider Renegades and have been revered as such by their fans. The Raiders' attitude has been to win at all costs, against all odds. The commitment to excellence still prevails, and excellence is measured in winning alone. For 3 decades, the silver and black has belonged to the Raiders, but today the Raiders confront a new challenger to their renegade mystique. Atlanta, under head coach Jerry Glanville, has staked its own claim to the image of outlaw. His Falcons have evolved into the newest bad boys of the NFL. Draped in black, Glanville's Falcons are patterned after the Raiders. Their hallmark is a defense that swarms and hits and intimidates. The Falcon defense prides itself on relentless pursuit and gang tackling. Today in Atlanta, the Falcons will play the biggest game of the Glanville era. To defeat the Raiders is to defeat their role models and to claim a Raider-like mystique as well.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Los Angeles Raiders versus the Atlanta Falcons.
Fulton County Stadium has been sold out for months for today's meeting between the Falcons and the Raiders, and the weather couldn't be better. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Don Crickey. These are the best of times for the teams of Atlanta. Georgia Tech reigns as one of the co-national champions of college football. The Braves are battling for a pennant. The Olympic Games are coming here in '96, and today the Falcons hope to come of age in the Glanville era by beating the Raiders, a team he'd like to emulate. I'm joined by Bob Trumpy. Young quarterback runs this red gun offense at Glanville's. It's a tough offense to run.
Yes, it is. Chris Miller has the entire offense on his shoulders. The red gun requires that responsibility. An awful lot of audibles at the line of scrimmage, so he's not really ready for it yet. Just still learning the offense.
The Falcons have a swarming defense, but it's a bit undersized. The Raiders might try to power the ball at it.
Well, what Jerry Glanville has designed is a defense that's everywhere. Blitzes on every down from every spot. So the emphasis is the Raiders have to run the ball. Roger Craig has been a very big man for the Los Angeles Raiders, and he should get the ball a lot today, Don.
We're now underway, and the Raiders bring the ball back across their 20, and they're pushed out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. And so Jay Schrader, who's coming off a good passing day a week ago in a victory over Indianapolis, a shutout win. Here's the offensive blockers for him. Wilkerson, Wisniewski, Mosbar, Montoya, and Wright. All of them solid. Roger Craig really coming on at the running back position. Gained over 90 yards last week with 27 carries, a career high. Extra wideouts come in. Tim Brown will be in there with Willie Galton, Mervyn Fernandez. Even the tight end on this Raider offense, Ethan Horton, can get deep. This is a team with an offense built on speed at the wide receiver position. Everybody in this league is fast, but the Raiders are super fast.
And the Raiders start with 3 tackles in the lineup, something they did against Denver 2 weeks ago.
Unbalanced line to the left, extra strength there. And now we have a penalty marker before the Raiders get the snap off. Might be an early delay of game. Johnny Greer is the referee.
Please reset the 45-second clock to 10 seconds. There is no infraction. The ball was reset by the officials on the field.
There was a penalty marker down, but it's picked up. So they reset the clock now. And the Raiders get set for the first snap of the game. There's Art Shell. His team comes in with a 2-1 record, sharing first place in the AFC West with Denver. Handoff, and they go right to Roger Craig, 9 times a Pro Bowl player for the San Francisco 49ers. The Falcons' defense is giving up a lot of yards to the run. Tim Green, rookie Mo Gardner, and Mike Gann are across the front. Darian Connor, a huge outside linebacker. Jesse Tuggle, the leading tackler. Neon Deion Sanders, an outstanding cornerback. McKier's the guy the Raiders will go after. Jordan and Case are the safeties. A 3-yard gain by Roger Craig. It's now 2nd down and 7, and there's not much there for Roger Craig as Tim Green comes hitting.
God, if there's a problem with this Los Angeles Raider team to this point, the offensive line, which is huge, has not dominated anyone at the line of scrimmage. The extra offensive lineman in there in the first 2 downs of this first series was James Fitzpatrick, 6'7", 320. And they'd run 2 straight shots into the line of scrimmage, nothing, 0. That brings up 3rd and long.
And the Falcons are the poorest in the NFL at defending the run. They're allowing 5.2 yards a rush. Now Schrader must throw on 3rd down and 7. Here comes a blitz, and Schrader is free to the football. Falcons have it. It's a live ball. And in for a touchdown is Jesse Tuggle. Defense explodes on Jay Schrader. The blitz freed the ball, and Jesse Tuggle, who led the NFL in tackles last season and leads the Falcons again this year, scoops it up, and the Falcon defense puts up the first points. Now the point after attempt by Norm Johnson, the longtime Seattle kicker, now the Falcons, is up and good. Big things happen early for the Falcons, Trump.
Don, as we said in our outset, they're going to have blitzes coming from everywhere, and this time it comes from the right-hand side of the picture. It appears to be, it's Deion Sanders. He's the one who makes the hit. The ball bounces for Atlanta. Tuggle picks it up. Last year, the Falcons had 8 returns for touchdowns. That's interceptions, fumble recoveries, kickoff, and punt returns. Watch this hit. Sanders is not touched. The ball bounces right up to Tuggle. 7 points without your offense on the field. Not bad.
On the 3rd play of the game from scrimmage, and they were Raider plays from scrimmage, the Falcons, Jesse Tuggle is in the end zone with a fumble recovery and return for a touchdown at 7-0 Atlanta. 18-yard return. And now the Atlanta Falcons will kick off. Didn't we just do this, Trump? We got Jamie Holland back again along with Sam Grady.
This Raider team, I consider, with their talent, their leadership, should be a dominating team. Even though they shut out the Indianapolis Colts last week, I don't know that that's a true indication of what kind of team this Raider team is. They're nowhere close to the kind of team they want to be at the end of the season.
Well, they had a one-back offense, and that's not enough to pick up an all-out blitz as the kick comes down to Grady, an Olympic sprinter. To the 15, and he's across the 20, and Grady is out to the 26-yard line. And the Raiders offense comes back out, and Jay Schrader's got to be looking both ways now, because as you point out, Trump, the blitzes by Glanville are going to be designed to come from all over the field from anybody.
Absolutely, anybody. That's the problem. You, as an offensive coach, you can sit in there and watch the films and design blitz pickups and have hot receivers, but very seldom do you see corners, Deion Sanders, blitzing on the 3rd down of the game. Highly unusual. The Raiders have had this problem to this point in the season. They've yet to score a point in the 1st quarter.
Early in the game, 13-23. If you joined us late, the Falcons scored on a fumble recovery by linebacker Jesse Tuggle. Roger Craig goes in motion. Schrader with a quick out from Irvin Fernandez, but cornerback Tim McKyer is right there to knock him down. Short gain on the play, perhaps 3.
That's one of the best aspects of the Atlanta Falcons defense, their 2 corners. Because McKyer and because Deion Sanders are excellent one-on-one coverage people, there is so much you can do defensively. If you've got those plaster to the receiver cornerbacks, you can do it. And the Raider fans certainly are aware of when they had Lester Hayes and Mike Haynes, then you saw the Raider defense all over the field. The key to this defense, McKyer 22, Sanders 21 in their bump and run coverage.
They get the wideouts one-on-one. Now it's a 2nd down and 5 play. Roger Craig waits for the hole to open. It does briefly, and he gets ahead across the 30-yard line where Rick Bryan, number 77, a former All-American from Oklahoma, made the knockdown. And it'll bring up 3rd and short yardage, 3rd and about 2.
Actually, at this point in the season, that's more carries than they really wanted Roger Craig to have. But with the injury to Marcus Allen and the injury to Greg Bell, he's got to carry it that much. He's willing to. There's Marcus Allen standing on the sideline. The Raiders are counting an awful lot on Nick Bell, the rookie out of Iowa, getting healthy next week.
And Marcus is feeling good. He's been running now. He should be back in a couple of weeks. On 3rd down and 2, the Raiders set in their offense at the 35. Schrader with a good throw, but the big play on defense is turned in by Tuggle. The man who scored the touchdown. Jesse Tuggle, not tall, maybe 5'11", but super strong. He bench presses 510 pounds, more than anybody on this team, and maybe more than anybody in the NFL.
Well, we already got a fight on the field. We got the Atlanta Falcons. They're the wannabes in this game. They want to be the Los Angeles Raiders. Talked to Johnny Greer before the game, and I said, Johnny, did you consider maybe a penalty box for this game? You know, put it on the sideline. Somebody off for 2 minutes. No, we'll just call it close.
There's some game misconduct in this one. So the Raiders come up short, and they'll punt the ball. And there is Deion Sanders, one of the best return men in the NFL. Ball is hit downfield. Gossett, the punter for the Raiders. Ball takes a hop back upfield, so Los Angeles, with its coverage, comes down and downs the ball at about the 26-yard line of Atlanta. So the Falcons send their offense out for the first time, and yet they already lead the game 7-0.
First, we created the LS 400 luxury sedan. Now we've taken everything we learned and condensed it. Introducing the new ES 300. All the performance of a sports sedan, all the luxury of a Lexus.
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Bic Regular, a great shave at a great price.
I'm a big man.
Bic Sensitive, Bic Baby's tender skin. Bic Metal, slim head, total control.
Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man.
Regular, sensitive, metal.
I'm a big man.
Back to live action. They punt the ball again. Raiders had an illegal man downfield. Now Sanders comes over, fields it at his 24. And down to make the play on special teams is number 82 for the Raiders, Jamie Holland. So by taking the penalty and having the Raiders re-kick, Atlanta actually lost 5 yards on that exchange. And now we look at the offensive line. Mike Ken has many times been a Pro Bowler at left tackle. Chris Hinton, a super right tackle. Fralick's into the Pro Bowl a number of times at right guard. Broussard, a second-year runner, is just coming on. Had his best game a week ago, went for over 100 yards. Pritchard is a deep threat from Colorado, a #1 draft choice. Rison is a first-team All-Pro receiver. Andre Rison caught 82 balls last year, 10 for touchdowns. Haynes and George Thomas are both deep speed. Rison's the guy that's tough to defense. Has great ability to move all over the field and has just outstanding hands. First down and 10 now for the Falcons. Their first possession on offense, yet they lead the game 7-0. This is Broussard trying the left side of the Raider defense. As we check the silver and black on defense, Townsend, Davis, Golick, and Howie Long, the down linemen. Robinson is in there as a linebacker. McDaniel and Lionel Washington are the corners. Extra DBs with Lott, Anderson, Dorn, and Lewis. Raiders right now setting in their base defense until they see the red gun.
Yeah, and the Falcons are going with 2 running backs, so they have their standard offense. That's kind of the mind game that each coach is playing with each other here to start the game.
Gartell said, Trump, the Falcons give you a different look on offense and defense every week. Give you a lot to prepare for. It's now 2nd down and 8. Miller's first throw. Long ball. Andre Rison. Foul. No flag.
No flag?
Rison protesting. Lionel Washington took him down. And apparently the official on top of the play thought it was time. Look at Glanville. Looked like a blatant error by the official.
Jerry's never going to be the guest speaker at the NFL officials union annual meeting, but that really looked like Lionel Washington just dragged him down. We got it all the way. Rison, excellent speed.
He beats him.
Now watch it. Watch Washington's right arm. Left arm.
Oh,
I guess what the official is saying is that Washington was looking back, and therefore the incidental contact is allowed. But Rison, Glanville, and no one in Fulton County Stadium agrees.
So it goes as a long out, and a used up down. It's now 3rd down and 8. Miller stands in, fires, he makes a connection, and a player who's not been very productive finally catches the ball as Sean Collins comes from off the flank.
That was the red gun, the first snap of the red gun. It looked like the Raiders came with a blitz, but they didn't convert the 3rd down. You need those receivers to get that 10 yards before you throw it. That's on the quarterback. You got to wait till they get down there.
And now Scott Fulhag comes in to punt the ball. There's Tim Brown, the Heisman Trophy winner in 1987, return man for the Raiders. Raiders could get fairly good field position as Fulhag is positioned back inside his 20. Long spiral. Tim Brown has to go to the far sideline, fields the ball at his 22. There's a channel of blockers as Brown eludes 2 tacklers, and finally they really stepped out of bounds. But the Falcons are going to hit somebody anyway. It's football, right, Trump?
Why not? There's more than one, so let's take a shot. Interesting. Art Shell's his thought on intimidation. He told us yesterday, you intimidate through execution, not after the play, during the play.
Jerry Glanville says we're not dirty, but we do live on the edge.
Art Shell, head coach, right in front of him. Kim Helton talking to Marcus Allen. Kim Helton is the offensive line coach already. Look at that figure. Surprising figure under Art Shell for the Los Angeles Raiders. But already the pass protection for the Raiders exposed on that blitz by Deion Sanders that produced the turnover and the touchdown. And Jerry Glanville still been in the ear of the back judge.
Jerry Glanville, perhaps you've seen that cut of him from NFL films where he says to an official, NFL, in your case it stands for not for long if you make calls like that.
Or could be not for long for the head coach. You lose games because of calls like that. The coach is looking for work in another league.
Glanville is very firmly entrenched here. His first season, the Falcons were 5-11, but they improved in every area. And this season, they're off now to a 1-2 start. Got their first road win in 19 games last week when they beat the Chargers at San Diego.
Only coach I know in the league that calls both the offensive plays and the defensive sets. He suggests offensive plays to June Jones. That's Doug Shively, assistant head coach in charge of the defense. I know of no other coach who does that, who has ever tried that in the history of the league.
Is it too much?
Well, he says it's my team. I know what I want my team to do. That's why I'm involved in both the offense and defense. There isn't a busier coach in the NFL come to game day.
Now the Raiders come out of the huddle. They set up at their 25-yard line. Their 3rd possession of this first quarter. Their first possession turned into an Atlanta touchdown. Deion Sanders blitz. Jay Schrader freed the ball on a fumble, and Tuggle picked it up. Ran it in from 18 yards out to Jesse Tuggle for the only score of the game. It's 7-0 Atlanta. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Pitch back. Goes to Roger Craig. And Craig, with all those moves and all that leg power, drives ahead, and a penalty marker comes in late from the referee. Johnny Greer fires one in, a personal foul against the Raiders. Gary Encana was on the tackle drop.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 76 weight.
Wisniewski, left guard.
Art Shell can't believe it. Come on. They're the ones that are fighting after the play. Why are you calling it on our guys? The one thing this Atlanta defense is susceptible to is the cutback. Because it's small and aggressive and moves all over the place, you can cut the ball back. Roger Craig did that time, and without the penalty, that was a nice 6 or 7 yard pickup.
They really do bite on fakes, the Atlanta defense. They're off after the ball. Their motto, 11 men to the ball, or where they think the ball is. Raiders are going to go deep very soon. We'll see when, as now it is 2nd down and 18. And off and hit behind the line of scrimmage is Roger Craig by Oliver Barnett. Look at the headbutts. Jim Green is the leading butter, number 99.
gotten tougher between plays for this defense than it is during the plays.
It starts to get old. We'll check those headbutts as we look at a big play by Barnett.
Yeah, I don't know who started this insidious thing of headbutting people as if you don't get headbutt enough in this football game. But watch Barnett gets up, and you're right. The ringleader is Tim Green. And, you know, a couple more headbutts for good measure, you know, just to knock any sense you have in you out. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom.
Those are in slow motion. Real thing is Tim can lose some IQ points. He's a law school student. Here is Schrader on the deep drop on second down, and the ball is almost picked off by Tuggle. Incomplete. Jesse Tuggle, the leading scorer in this game, almost had another one.
Well, they've done nothing. Raiders have done absolutely nothing. They have not dented the Falcon defense. Robisky on the left, Artshell on the right. It's not working at this point, gentlemen. What's next?
Atlanta really tightening up its run defense. Good news and bad for the Falcons running the ball. On offense, they average over 5 yards a carry, but defensively they give up 5.2, but not so far today. Now Schrader with a long ball call. It is 3rd down and 21 for the Raiders at their 15-yard line. Three wide receivers in the game as Schrader gets some protection. Lets it go deep. Going for the ball out there is Mervyn Fernandez. It's picked off by Atlanta. Deion Sanders having a Hall of Fame day. First he freed the ball up on the fumble with the blitz for the touchdown. Now he makes the pickoff. So the Falcons force yet another Raider turnover, and they take over the ball when we come back.
To keep your competitive edge, you can phone it there, fax it there, even beam it there. But there's nothing like being there. With US Air and the American Express card, you get a winning combination. The airline that begins with you and the card dedicated to providing unparalleled customer service. US Air and the American Express card. Keep your competitive edge.
Just how realistic is the audio system in the Lexus LS 400?
The moment is finally here. Today we unveil the new model you've been waiting to take out on the road. Introducing the sleek, aerodynamic, easy-to-handle KFC Go Bucket. It comfortably feeds a family of 4. Available in 3 custom-designed exteriors at a manufacturer's suggested retail price of just $5.99. Considerably less than, say, a new car. Come over to KFC and drive one home today.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. By Kentucky Fried Chicken, nobody's cooking like today's KFC. By Liberty Mutual. We're our customers' advocate at Liberty Mutual because we understand the costs involved. And by Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now.
Jay Schrader and a desperation call by the Los Angeles Raiders. I'm surprised. Just heave it down the field.
Now the Falcons go on offense, 1st and 10. Chris Miller drills a pitch over the middle, and he makes the connection at the 40-yard line for a gain of 6 yards. Michael Haynes was the man who took it in. World-class speed from northern Arizona, Michael Haynes.
In the case of Chris Miller, the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, June Jones, first year here. And, of course, Glanville came to Atlanta from Houston with the red gun or the run and shoot. June Jones is one of those disciples of Mouse Davis. June Jones, an excellent teacher. This is the 3rd offense. There's June right there in the glasses. This is the 3rd offense that Chris Miller has learned in 4 years. So he's not got the whole thing yet.
But he has great ability, a former #1 pick out of the University of Oregon. 2nd down and 4 now as the Falcons go to the run. Broussard bounces inside, takes it outside. and he's ahead for 2 yards. The tackle on the play for the Raiders was made by Winston Moss, an outside linebacker. Brings up 3rd down and 2 for the Falcons, who lead the game 7-0.
There's Deion Sanders, who I was shocked to find out is a very quiet, shy, introverted person.
Some of the time. He's a man with a certain style. His last game at Florida State, he showed up for the ball game in a tuxedo in a limousine.
His last at bat for the Atlanta Braves this summer, a 3-run home run.
Yeah.
He can go out with a flair, can't he?
3rd down and 2 now for the Falcons, who lead the game 7-0 on a defensive touchdown. Jesse Tuggle running in a fumble early in the game. Miller throwing on the run. Good coverage on the play. Gary Lewis, number 21, defends beautifully. Makes the hit just as the ball came in.
Pritchard was the intended receiver. This is the red gun. You see the half roll by Chris Miller, but Lewis is right there in coverage. It was enough to make the 1st down, but Lewis knocks the ball away.
Now the Falcons will punt the ball as Fulhag is back in the game, and Tim Brown is back deep again for the LA Raiders. 6:16 to play in the first quarter at 7-0 Atlanta. 18-yard fumble return by Jesse Tuggle of the Falcons. Raiders get a good rush. Fulhag gets away a good kick, and it comes out of bounds at about the 25-yard line.
No fight. How about that?
Peace for the moment. And when we come back, the Raiders go on offense again.
Wouldn't it be great if you invented magic recliners that took you anywhere? So you guys took a trip to the Keys for some boating, volleyball, and a little snorkeling. And wouldn't it be great if just by pushing a button you got beer? Really great premium beer like Keystone.
What's this button do?
No. Cold filtered Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottle beer tastes in a can. Wouldn't that be great?
Oops.
We invested $100 million in the latest diagnostic equipment. And another $5 million a year training our expert technicians to use it. We are Goodyear certified auto service retailers, and we believe everything we do, from tires to tune-ups, should live up to the most exacting standards of all. Yours and ours. Good tires, good service, good people, Goodyear.
First, we created the LS400 luxury sedan. Now we've taken everything we learned and condensed it. Introducing the new ES300. All the performance of a sports sedan, all the luxury of a Lexus.
Next weekend, a great golf tradition comes to NBC. Payne Stewart and Paul Azinger lead the U.S. against Europe's best, including Seve Ballesteros and Ian Woosnam. The pride of yesterday and the pride of today in an unrivaled testimony to golf. The Ryder Cup on NBC.
Fulton County Stadium sold out for this meeting between the Falcons and the Raiders, and it's been sold out since last July. The new men in black, the Falcons on defense now, leading the game 7-0 on a defensive touchdown. Jay Schrader drops on 1st down, guns it to Roger Craig, and it's almost picked for another score. Brian Jordan, strong safety, had his hands on if it lost it.
Well, Don, you can see that the Raiders are struggling for all kinds of different things. This time they run Roger Craig out in motion. Schrader he's already decided he's going to throw it out there, and Jordan almost makes the pick.
So Schrader, unable to complete a pass on 1st down, again finds himself in long yardage, 2nd down and 10. Craig behind Steve Smith. Roger Craig turns it up, but there's nothing there as the Falcons, with good pursuit, are there to get him. Darian Connor led the tacklers. And now let's check the Schick Tracer 10-minute ticker. Dolphins up on the Packers on a day when Don Shula goes for a career win number 300. Steelers and the Eagles tied up 7-7 in the first quarter at Philadelphia. Oilers and Patriots in a tie. 3-all at Foxborough, and Washington unbeaten and Cincinnati winless. It's the Redskins up by 3. The Colts a surprise early leader on the Lions, 10-0. Steve Smith is now the lone setback to pass block for Schrader on 3rd down and almost 10. There's a blitz. Schrader stands in, makes the connection to his tight end Horton, and Ethan Horton is ahead to the 38-yard line. It's a Raider first down.
First completion by the Los Angeles Raiders. Jeff Donaldson on the tackle. The tight end across the middle. Falcons had 6 defensive backs. You see the lone linebacker 58 Tuggle, and there's the hand fighting below. Ethan Horton able to get some separation away from that strong safety and make the reception for a first down. Again, Horton running across the middle. Jeff Donaldson, formerly the Houston Oilers. Jerry Glanville brings him here. That's the first down for either team, isn't it?
I believe it is, yeah. There is a 7-0 score on the board. Atlanta on a fumble recovery and a return of 18 yards by linebacker Jesse Tuggle on the 3rd play of the game. The long ball. Schrader airs it out. Nobody close to it except McKyer. The left side cornerback Tim Brown was in the general vicinity. But again, Schrader tries to go deep on 1st down. Raiders don't come close, and they go to 2nd and 10.
I think if there's one accusation you can label against this Los Angeles Raider offense is that there are some plays that they just give away. Just throw the ball away. They don't look for the underneath receiver. I mean, you can see the stop and go there by Tim Brown did not fool McKyer at all, and Schrader still goes to it.
Schrader picked off earlier on the deep throw that was taken in by Deion Sanders. Now on 2nd down and 10. Schrader with 2 backs and 2 wide receivers. Roger Craig, and the Falcon defenders are reading him all the way. There's the headbutt man Tim Green from Syracuse, an undersized defensive end. They tried him at linebacker, but he's been much more effective as a defensive end. A very good player, if small for the position.
Watch the movement. You see Green running a stunt with the other defensive tackle, and he runs around the block and is there to tackle Craig in the backfield. Something that is very characteristic of Jerry Glanville defenses. They'll take chances on almost every down.
Green told us at the Falcons practice on Friday, if you want to, one thing that characterizes playing for Glanville, he said it's the most fun Tim Green that he's ever had playing football. 3rd down and 12, another long ball throw, and again the coverage is right there as McKyer had his hands on the ball. Intended receiver was Mervin Fernandez. So Schrader again airs it out, but the coverage is perfect.
Falcons, every one that's been almost catchable by the Raiders has been also almost catchable by the Falcons. There's nothing intermediate here. I mean, they throw the crossing pattern to Ethan Horton for a first down, and then again they go deep.
Tim McKyer, who was with the Miami Dolphins last year, back on the field is Jeff Gossett to punt for the LA Raiders. It's a beauty. It drives Deion Sanders back to his 13-yard line. And Sanders, with no lane to go to, puts his head down and dives for a yard. The ball will be positioned at the 18-yard line as Atlanta is set to go on offense now, leading the game 7-0. Dan Turk was down to make the tackle for the Raiders.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Throughout the 80s and into the 90s, Raiders' defensive might has been keyed by pass rushers Howie Long and Greg Townsend. The 2nd and 5th leading active sackers in the AFC. They have combined for 148 sacks during their careers. Townsend made his first Pro Bowl in 1990, while Long was named to the team of the 80s. Individually, each is a star. Together as teammates, they make the Raiders the best they can be.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation, but I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training up to 12 months in advance through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
It took all day, but they finally came up with one very big idea. What do you bet they printed on a laser jet from Hewlett-Packard?
The temperature never drops below Xerex. That's important to remember at a time like this, when it's very dark and very cold. Ah, you did remember Xerex Antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerex.
It's Will's first time. Not that time. It's Will's first job.
Get a load of his costume. Think you'll be needing a booster seat, little boy.
All new Fresh Prince, NBC Monday.
So far, no offense for the Los Angeles Raiders as they trail Atlanta 7-0. Raiders 1 for 5 trying to convert third downs in this game. The Falcons, who got a touchdown on the third play of the game on a blitz by Deion Sanders that freed the ball from Schrader. Picking up the fumble was Jesse Tuggle, a linebacker. He ran it in from 18 yards out.
Well, the Falcons are going with 2 tight ends and 2 running backs here.
Keep changing looks for the Raider defense to contend with. First down and 10. Running the ball now is Keith Jones, number 38. And he is ahead for perhaps only a yard as Ricky Ellison, the middle linebacker for the Raiders, made the stop. We're down to 3:07 and the clock is running in the first quarter.
I don't think there's Glanville on the sideline, June Jones in the background. The Falcons don't have a first down at this point. Lead 7-0, don't have a first down. Glanville keeps changing what his offense is. From that 2 tight end set, now they go to the red gun, 4 wide receivers.
His first team here in Atlanta, 5-11. That's what his first team in Houston was. And the Oilers proceeded to make the playoffs 3 of the next 4 years. Miller, with some time, steps in and drills the ball. And this one is almost taken in by Anderson. Eddie Anderson, the Raiders' free safety, came up on the ball. He was a football hero here in Georgia from Warner Robins, Georgia.
Mike Haynes, the intended receiver. Zone coverage by the Raiders. Washington underneath. Anderson, he has the deep outside third in that double rotation zone. And that's the most difficult completion for a quarterback to make. So neither team doing much offensively to this point in the game, Don.
Not much. Ball position at the 19-yard line, and now a long ball down for Chris Miller and the Atlanta Falcons offense. It's 3rd down and 9. Pritchard, the rookie from Colorado, going back and forth. He has deep speed as Miller comes to the near flank, makes the connection. Out across the 30-yard line is George Thomas, a flyer from UNLV. Gary McDaniel knocked him out of bounds, but it's good for a Falcon first down.
Their first down. Again, from behind the offense, part of the aspect of the run and shoot is you read how many people the defense has at the line of scrimmage. That dictates what play you call. The last time the Raiders played a run and shoot in Houston, they didn't really do much good on the run. When they commit 6 guys to the line of scrimmage, then the quarterback is going to throw the ball. Good completion there for a first down by Miller.
George Thomas, they call him Deep Heat. His primary pattern is just to fly down the sidelines. Now on first down and 10, Miller with a long count goes to a draw play. Running straight ahead with the ball is Eric Pegram, a first-year runner from North Texas State. Good football player, averaging 6.4 yards a rush as a rookie.
Greg Townsend, that time on the tackle, the Raiders had a game. Townsend goes inside, Davis goes outside, and happens to run right into the slot where the play is designed to go. Well, the Falcons just can't make up their mind what offense they're going to run. They're back to the red gun now.
As you pointed out, Trump, Glanville calling all offensive plays and all the defenses. This is a man on top of things as Miller throws an out pattern, makes the connection. Coming down with the ball was number 81, Michael Haynes of the Falcons. The Raiders had a great Mike Haynes for a number of years. Playing on the other side of the ball, a cornerback. Lionel Washington was covering.
Again, quarterback's first responsibility. Read the number of people at the line of scrimmage. Zone coverage again by the Raiders. Excellent tackle by Washington. Where Haynes is going to pick up more yards. You know, he looks a lot like Mike Haynes. Very long legs, very long arms, very thin kid, but with great speed. Haynes may have been one of the best corners to ever play the game.
He had that acclamation his whole career. You talked about the one-on-one coverage that set the Raider defense, freed up so many other players, and that's what the Falcons are trying to get to as Broussard runs the ball. On third down and about 3, he fights ahead across the 40-yard line of Atlanta and appears to have enough for a first down. Winston Moss, the big outside linebacker, number 99, a first-year Raider, came as a plan B from Tampa Bay, was the man who made the tackle. Now where the spot is, they might need a measurement.
Broussard, of course, was the star last week against San Diego with his first career NFL 100-yard rushing day. It looks like, to this point, the Atlanta Falcons are trying to search out their offense to find out what creates problems for the Los Angeles Raider defense. And this is a good job of bouncing the ball outside by Broussard. Winston Moss, 99, still makes the tackle. But the secret to that is you get up into the line of scrimmage, then you bounce it out as the first quarter ends.
That will do it for the first 15 minutes, and the Falcons holding a 7-0 lead. We'll be back to Fulton County Stadium after this.
The accident took my arm, and I thought my job. I just couldn't do what I used to. So Liberty Mutual gave me a Boston elbow. Its power and flexibility gave me back the ability to do my job, which gives me back the ability to pick up a paycheck.
Over the past 5 years, more people switched to Glidden than any other paint. Now, if that isn't the ultimate test of quality, we don't know what is. Glidden, a better way to paint.
And right now, quality Glidden paints are yours at terrific savings during our NFL Super Sale. So hurry down to your nearest Glidden dealer and pick up America's favorite paint at NFL Super Savings.
Glidden, a better way to paint.
When you've got a tough case of athlete's foot, the itching, the cracking, the burning, you want a medicine that acts tough. Tough Actin Tenactin. Clinically proven Tenactin cures even the tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
Professional service, a friendly face. That's your Big A Pro.
Big A, the sign that keeps your car running right.
Recently, this couple walked out of Little Caesars with extra pepperoni and extra cheese without paying for it. It's Lotsa, 2 pizzas with extra pepperoni and extra cheese for $8.98. It's a steal.
Lotsa.
There was not a lot of offense in the first quarter here in Atlanta, but the Falcons hold a 7-0 lead on a defensive play. A blitz, a fumble by Schrader, and a subsequent return for a touchdown by linebacker Jesse Tuggle, and it's 7-0 as now the Falcons start the second quarter with a 1st and 10 play from their 41. Miller with a finesse throw to Andre Rison in the open field. Lott has a shot at him. Rison, with moves all over the field, finally is down at the 46-yard line of Los Angeles.
Oh, was that lucky. Winston Moss finally makes the tackle, but oh, was that lucky. There are a set of rules that quarterbacks have. One is don't throw late down the middle. Look at this. He throws it back across the middle. I mean, it is almost intercepted. Terry McDaniel gets his hand up there, but Rison makes a one-handed catch for a first down pickup, so big deal. Throw it anywhere you want, I guess.
Rison following the ball all the way in. He was complaining earlier in the year they weren't going to enough, and they started to get the ball his way a lot last week at San Diego. Rison has mentioned a first-team All-Pro player last season. Here's a throw that's too low for Steve Broussard to handle. He's built low to the ground, 5'7", 201, Broussard. And now while we have a moment, let's switch to NFL Live for this update with Bob Costas. Bob?
All right, Don, 7-0 tie at Veterans Stadium. Bubby Brister, after hitting Eric Green with a 50-yarder to set it up, flips him this 8-yarder. This is an outstanding, huge young tight end with wide receivers' speed and moves. Second touchdown pass of the day for Brister. Earlier, he had hit Merrill Hodge. Steelers 14, Eagles 7 in the second.
This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy in Atlanta, Georgia, where the Falcons hold to a 7-0 lead over the Los Angeles Raiders. Falcons with the ball on the Raiders side of the field for the first time, other than their defensive play when they recovered a Raider fumble and ran it in. Hand handoff to Broussard, and he is taken down at the 45. No gain. Big Raiders come hitting. Howie Long was one of the lead men. Bob Golick also on the play.
Don, Howie Long told us yesterday, he said, I don't like playing these run and shoot teams. And I said, why? And he said, well, because the defensive tackle's responsibility is the draws, the screens, and the runs up the middle. He said, I'm one of those guys that I like to turn it loose. So the first time they played Houston, he was pretty much stuck on the line of scrimmage. Now, apparently, Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinators, turned him loose against this red gun offense here. We'll see.
Talking to Howie Long, and the Falcon claims that this is going to be war. He said, I've been here 11 years. I've heard that every week. You start to lose interest in all the claims when you come to town of locking up the women and children. Here's a marker as the Falcons are slow getting the ball into play.
I found out something from Howie Long that I didn't know.
75 offense. Still third down.
I was unaware that Howie Long has a tremendous fear of flying. Sits next to Bob Golick, and they do everything but hold hands. Golick has no problems flying, but Howie does not like to be in the air.
His toughest one was a flight to Tokyo for a preseason game.
Yeah.
Slept on the floor of the plane
for all 13 hours. Well, if nothing else, certainly well rested when they got there, huh?
Just 31 years old and yet in his 11th season, and playing as well as he ever has. He can still cave in the side of that side of the offensive line. Here he comes with a bull rush up the middle as Miller delivers and makes the connection, and ahead for a first down is George Thomas. That's Thomas's pattern sideline fly.
Well, Don, it looks like the Raiders' choice here is to take the approach that the Kansas City Chiefs did against Houston a couple of weeks ago, and that is play zone and rush your defensive lineman as best you can. But in playing zone, you're going to find dead spots if the quarterback has time. And that time, just outside of Lewis, Thomas makes the reception for another first down.
Falcons now have the ball positioned at the 34-yard line of the Raiders. Baseball infield still down here. The Braves have work to do down the stretch run of the National League season as the handoff now goes on a wide carry to Keith Jones, and the Raiders string it out, knock him down for a loss of 3 yards on the play. Eddie Anderson, the free safety, came up with run support.
Anderson, one of those great hitters with good speed. Watch the penetration by the defensive line. See, standing outside there is 99 Aaron Wallace. He's just standing there waiting to make the touch. Excuse me, Winston Moss just standing there to see what the running back's going to do, and there was nothing for him to do.
It was really the penetration by right cornerback Lionel Washington that set up the loss. He was through and slowed up the carrier. As now second down and 13 comes up for the Falcons, and we have a timeout call. So Chris Miller, just 26 years old in his 5th year from the University of Oregon. He has thrown for 3 touchdowns and 6 interceptions so far this year. He has all the ability in the...
Bulletin from Chevy Truck. Now get $1,000 cash back on every new 1991 Chevy full-size. The best cash back offer on America's best-selling pickup. Now through September 25th, $1,000 on every new 1991 Chevy full-size pickup. Every half-ton, 3/4 ton, 1 ton. Every 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. All with $1,000 cash back. You must take retail delivery from dealer stock by September 25th. See your Chevy dealer for details and get $1,000 cash back now.
When you buy a Super Color Special TV antenna from Radio Shack, you get a great value. And Radio Shack has everything you need to make installation easy. Best of all, you get Super Color's advanced technology for the clearest picture and sound possible. Reception so lifelike, it's incredible.
Hey, great picture, huh, Howie?
And Super Color antennas are here just in time for football. 2 great antennas for city, suburban, or long range from $24.88. Only at Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Guys, doesn't get any better than this.
Bob Pullum was wrong, because when a crate of lobsters fell from the sky, it got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team dropped by, it got a little better. And when an old Milwaukee truck showed up, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
The Dolphins
the Jets, rocking the Big Apple next Sunday.
Falcon making threats here on the field as the Atlanta Falcons are in the lead over the Raiders 7-0. There's been virtually no running game either way so far, Trump. The Raiders with just 9 total yards rushing on 7 carries, 1.3 a carry. The Falcons with just 6 yards rushing on 6 carries, 1 yard a pop. Now 2nd down and 13 comes up. Miller standing in the pocket. It's looped. It could be picked off, and it is by Anderson. Eddie Anderson still inbound, crosses the 20. And finally, he is stood up and knocked back at the 20.
Intended receiver Andre Rison fell down, Don. Right at the edge of the skimmed infield. He tripped. Let's see if we can see Rison on the inside. He's got Washington 48 right there with him. What happened? Oh, they tangle feet. See, he's down. So Eddie Anderson has a free shot at it, like playing right field for the Atlanta Braves. He catches the ball. First turnover of the day for the Atlanta Falcons. Again from behind the defense. Raiders come with the blitz. Rison's no factor. Easy interception for the Raiders.
Really, which Raider was going to pick it off? Lionel Washington was on top of the ball also. Anderson took it, and Convoy on the return, the interceptor. Anderson got it back to the 20. First down and 10 now for the Raiders, who've had no big plays. Handoff, running with the ball is the fullback, Steve Smith. They put a little more bulk into the Atlanta defense, but there still is no yards to be gained, maybe a yard and a half there. Mike Gann, a veteran from Notre Dame, made the stop as we check the ITT 10-minute ticker. Giants up on the Browns. Miami a 3-point leader. Pittsburgh has now gone ahead of the Eagles. New England, a surprise leader on undefeated Houston. And here in Atlanta, the Falcons lead the Raiders, who have the ball 7-0. Linebacker Jesse Tuggle scored a first quarter touchdown and a fumble recovery in return. Roger Craig is now flanked out as a receiver. Schrader on 2nd and 7 makes the connection to his tight end, but for only a gain of a yard. Ethan Horton came across and took the ball. Darian Connor was right with him.
Well, you got to give it to this Falcon defense. Even though it looks like there is tremendous disorganization at the line of scrimmage and people moving all over the place, when it's deployed at the snap of the ball, there's always somebody covering somebody. There's nobody free. Very difficult defense to just stand there and decide what you're going to do, not only as a quarterback during the game, but as an offensive coordinator during the week preparing for the game.
3rd down now for the Raiders. They've converted only 1 of 5 previous 3rd downs. They need a long 5, almost 6. Schrader gets time, makes the connection. Tim Brown dances ahead. He has the first down for the Raiders out to the Los Angeles 33-yard line. Gain on the play of 8 yards. Jeff Donaldson, an extra defensive back, made the play.
3 wide receivers set to the left of Jay Schrader. Looks like the Falcons back in just zone coverage. Tim Brown does an excellent job of hooking up in that zone. Got an injury too. Steve Wisniewski is limping off the field. It looked like he turned his ankle. Fitzpatrick, 73, is in as his relief as Tim Brown is to the sideline.
Reagan Smith, pair of setbacks behind Jay Schrader. Protection improves, and so does the throw as the connection is made with Mervyn Fernandez. And he is across midfield and down to the 47-yard line of the Falcons. Brian Jordan made the stop, but it was 18 yards downfield.
Now here's the intermediate part of the Raiders pass game. McKyer, 22, the man in coverage. It's zone all the way. A rare snap of zone coverage by the Falcons, and Schrader reads it well. So does Fernandez, and number 40, Brian Jordan, there on the tackle. All the Raiders' first downs to this point by the pass, Don.
As they seem to be settling into their passing game now. Schrader with more time, surveying the field, throwing more confidently as he drops again on first down. Another throw, but this one too much on it for tight end Ethan Horton.
Oh, was he covered? I'm telling you, he was covered. Robert Lyles, 54, was underneath him, and Brian Jordan, 40, was on top of him. He was covered. Watch the end of this play. No play action. Watch the guys. That's covered. I'm telling you, you can color that one covered.
Brian Jordan, one of the coverers, he comes right up on the tight end much of the time, the strong safety for Atlanta. Schrader is a player equipped with a long-distance arm. Anywhere on the field, a receiver gets open, he can get it there.
Blitz, everybody coming.
Here comes the ball now, and a good defensive play. Atlanta had the blitz on, and then linebacker coverage was very good. Robert Lyles, 54, an ex-Oilers, you mentioned, Trump, right there to defend the play.
Look at all the people up at the line of scrimmage. Free safety, weak safety, outside linebacker, everybody coming, and still there's somebody back there in coverage. Excellent job by Tippin, 54. That was an outstanding, Robert Lyles, 54, to knock the ball away. Another big third down now for the Raiders.
Schrader, when he starts fast, has his confidence build. He often continues to hit receivers. Started slow today, but now he's picking up. Big down for him now. Third down, they need 10. Schrader is swept under. Penalty markers are down all over. The Falcons come with a 5-man rush, and they all busted through. Tim Green led the way, number 99.
See, they get the sack and the hold. Double jeopardy. This defense, because it's not big, will use a lot of stunts, loops, twists, turns. And you see offensive linemen all over the place. Green, he makes the twist to the outside, beats the center Mosbar.
68 offense. It's decline. Fourth down.
Penalties on Bruce Wilkerson. They'll take the sack. Again, watch Connor go inside. Green comes outside. Schrader's got no place to go. First sack of the day, Falcons.
Followed by the ceremonial headbutt. Randall was saying, you think Green is tough? You should see his wife. She's lovely, but she gave birth on a Friday and was at practice on a Saturday. That's tough.
That's tough.
Fourth down and 23. Gossett against a big rush hits a beautiful punt downfield that forces Deion Sanders to fair catch at the 14-yard line. So the Falcons will have the ball when we come back. The long field to go, but they continue to lead the game 7-0.
If your sporty car doesn't feel so sporty anymore, you need a change. By the team, the BF Goodrich Tire Team. They'll put on BF Goodrich TA Performance tires. Tires designed just for your sporty car. It's a whole new level of performance. Feel the difference. See your BF Goodrich Tire Team if they don't see you first.
The technology developed on the track for the awesome 650 horsepower Lumina NASCAR champion. Goes into cars like this. The 1992 twin dual cam V6 Chevy Lumina Z34. Sorry, decals not included. Z34. From the heartbeat of America. The cars more people depend on.
Tonight, Mark and Brian go
shark cage diving,
and they run into some very scary fish. Then it's Erie, Indiana.
Perfection.
TV Guide says don't miss this show.
Enough said.
And James Garner in the show that scored a hole-in-one with the critics, Man of the People. Plus Robert Guillaume.
Testing.
In a hysterical new series, Pacific Station. Then his son was wrongly convicted of murder.
I did not do that!
And he fought till he was free. Martin Sheen, based on a true story. Guilty until proven innocent. NBC tonight.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America, the cars more people depend on. By Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light, it doesn't get any better than this. By Canon Bubble Jet Personal Printers, laser quality at dot matrix prices. And by Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Back on a beautiful sunshiny September day in the capital city of Georgia. The Atlanta Falcons on the home field with a 7-0 lead over the Los Angeles Raiders, and the Falcons have the ball first down and 10. They go to the run. First down carry. One of the big backs, Tracy Johnson, runs it.
It certainly appears that the Falcons' choice of offense is first down, they go with 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and 1 running back. That time Johnson. And then on the next down, they go with the red gun. They're certainly not deceiving the Los Angeles Raiders at all. You see all those people collected around June Jones and Jerry Glanville. Neither team really putting up the numbers offensively here, Don.
Not at all.
Falcons are averaging 1.3 yards per rush.
On 2nd down and 7. The handoff goes to Broussard. Finally, they throw a net over him and get him. Greg Townsend was the first tackler, number 93, along with Lionel Washington. Broussard is a very shifty runner. He was a #1 pick out of Washington State a year ago. Comes in averaging almost 5 yards a carry. Had 105 yards last week against the Chargers, and they said that was his first really big game as a Falcon.
Well, I mentioned that Falcons were averaging 1.3 yards per rush to this point. That average just went down. Minus yardage there. Falcons 3 of 5 on 3rd down conversions. They've all been by the pass.
And 3rd down comes up now. Falcons need almost 10 from deep in their own end. They lead the game 7-0. Miller makes a throw. And a 1st down throw it is. As George Thomas, that elusive quick wide receiver, a running rev from UNLV, 5'9", on a slant, takes it ahead for the 1st down.
You see the bump and run up very close. Torrin Doran. But this young man does an excellent job. Thomas gets separation from that cornerback. Ronnie Lott comes in with a little exclamation point on the tackle, but it's good for 1st down.
The Falcons move it out now across their 25-yard line. 5:35 to play in the 1st half. It's a 7-0 game, Atlanta. Miller again stands in, then the pocket breaks down. He gets the ball away and throws it to linebacker Thomas Benson, who was not in the game.
That may be against Greg Townsend. Oh, no. Greer is calling intentional grounding.
That's expensive.
That's a loss of down and the penalty. And what he's saying is he threw the ball away to avoid the sack.
Thomas Benson, a Raider linebacker, not in the game, made a nice play on it. Surprised was he to get it on the sideline.
You watch what happens here. Stunts again by the Raiders. He avoids the 1st rush, but then Johnny Greer, the referee, is saying he is throwing that ball away to avoid the sack.
I think Johnny is right on.
Well, Benson was open.
Yeah, he's open. They don't throw to him often. He appreciates it when they do.
Good pressure for the 1st time. Townsend, 93 on Hinton, 75. Again, remember, intentional grounding is throwing the ball away to avoid the sack. If the referee determines that's what he did, therefore the flag. Mr. Glanville not happy with at least 2 calls that happened so far in this 1st half. That one and the one earlier about the holding not called against the defensive back.
Gary going with the heavy-duty belt buckle today. To deflect speeding bullets. Says they like to hate somebody, they all hate me. It's the story of my life. He fills seats. Here's a throw downfield, but there's a little too much on it. As Mike Pritchard, the #1 draft choice out of Colorado, a team that shared the national championship last season with nearby Georgia Tech, had a pivot, and he might have pulled a muscle doing it. He was open.
He beats Jerry Robinson 57, and if you're wondering why he has number 35 on, he lands right on his belly on that infield. Mike Pritchard was drafted as a running back, was a wide receiver at Colorado for just 1 year. Well, that's why he's wearing that running back number, even though he is exclusively a wide receiver, but a multi-talented individual.
Boy, this guy is one fine player, Mike Pritchard. Not very big. No need to be, though. Comes in with 13 receptions. Tied for the lead with Risen. Miller humps over the middle and goes to Risen, who cuts back and loses about 8 yards.
Lost the 1st down. There's 3 parts to being a receiver, Don. running the pattern, catching the ball, and then turning the thing upfield.
When I said Trump, he lost 8. He lost 8 from where he caught it. As you pointed out, he lost a chance for the first down.
Now, this is not smart on Rison's part, and actually, he's a veteran receiver, should know better. He's trying to make a big play when all they need is a first down, and they got a punt because of that choice.
But that's his game. Rison is a tremendous open field player. He moves around like Gale Sayers with those quick lateral moves. It didn't pay off that time. And now Fulheg does well to get away a punt. It takes a hop downfield and takes a Falcon roll inside the Raiders' 35-yard line. And with 4:22 to go in the first half, the Falcons continue to lead the game 7-0. Raiders get it when we come back.
We got a problem. Any ideas?
I've got a contact, sir.
Well, get on it then.
Secure the area.
Get him here now.
Post 2, position A. Reverse 3 and hold. He's here. Let's roll. Go, go, go.
Where'd you find him?
He's been with the organization for a while.
Nice job, sir.
With years of training behind them, Napa technicians provide a secret service everyone should know about.
This neighborhood produces most of our Olympic team stars. It's where you'll find the Emerson Flag Company. They send thousands of flags to the Olympic Games. And for rush orders, they use express mail from the Postal Service. It offers convenient pickup service, guaranteed overnight delivery, plus great low prices, which could help a small company like this have a banner year.
We deliver for you.
Caprice is a new benchmark, a high-quality, performance-oriented full-size sedan. Look at the attention to detail, the perfect fit. It's a buncher car for the money.
The body is practically invincible with its extensive use of two-sided galvanized steel.
With that standard of quality, it's no wonder that in its first year, Chevrolet Caprice Classic LTZ was named Motor Trend Car of the Year.
It's the kind of car an owner will brag about to friends.
Tonight, Mark and Brian go
shark cage diving.
We're talking 2 regular guys learning the ropes from Lloyd Bridges and a sea full of very scary fish. Then it's Erie, Indiana, the show critics call the best reason ever to tune out 60 Minutes.
Enough said.
The real-life adventures of Mark and Brian in Erie, Indiana at 7, 6 Central, NBC Tonight.
Here's this last reception by Andre Rison. You can see the marker for the first down is right here, and you can also see the mistake he makes. He needs 4 yards from that spot to make the first down, and he ends up, when he catches it, going back the other way. Well, you see the marker at the bottom. Oh, big mistake by Andre Rison.
Now back to live action as Roger Craig runs the ball on first down for the Raiders. And again, that good pursuit of the Falcon defense, the 11 men to the ball philosophy. They got about 5 over there. Coming at halftime, we'll go to the studios in New York for NFL Live and a report on Sunday number 4 with Will, Bob, and O.J. Coach Parcells out at a stadium today doing a game. Some interesting developments today. The biggest, perhaps, the Patriots leading the Oilers and beaten team, Houston. Patriots got a halfback option pass from rookie John Vaughn to Marv Cook for their only touchdown. They lead 10-3.
Why not? Their quarterbacks can't throw touchdowns. Let's try somebody else.
Yeah, they changed quarterbacks this week. As now we have Jay Schrader setting up. Second down, he needs 8. The ball at the 35-yard line of the Raiders. Craig. Again, good penetration. Mo Gardner, number 67, a rookie from Illinois. He was the defensive player of the year in the Big Ten last season. 67, not big, but exceptionally quick.
This Falcon defense doing an outstanding job at the line of scrimmage to this point. The Raiders have run the ball 9 times for 14 yards to this point in the first half. 9 times, 14 yards.
Raiders will be throwing it here. Third down. They need a long 6, almost 7. One setback. Falcons bring people up. Here comes a linebacker blitz from Connor. Schrader on the run. Throw downfield, and a penalty marker's down from the back judge. Ethan Horton got his hands on the ball. We'll see what the ruling is. They picked up the blitz of outside backer Darian Connor. And a holding call is signaled against the defense. A first down for the Raiders.
Back judge watches the tight end and the man that covers him. See again the pressure. Tuggle 58 up the middle. Ken Tipman's 52. Horton can't make the reception, but the penalty does give them a first down.
Jay Schrader with just 35 yards passing the ball so far in the game. He is 6 for 14, has been intercepted once. Whoa! Ball skips off his receiver and almost into the hands of a defender. Tuggle was right on the play. Roger Craig coming out of the backfield.
Roger Craig hasn't missed many in his career. He's the all-time leading receiver as a running back in the history of the NFL, over 500 receptions, but this one surprises him. He didn't even see that ball released, and Schrader does have that strong arm. You need a little touch there.
He hit Tuggle in a bad place. Ball carrying right off his face mask. Goes off in his stick in there. You hope. A second down and 10 play now for Jay Schrader and the Raiders. Again, Connor, 56, comes on the blitz. Schrader on the run. Ooh, hit hard from behind. Loose. Free ball. We'll see if the play is live.
One official is marking it dead at the spot where he went down, but that ball was loose. They're going to give it back to the Raiders.
Schrader's up and all right.
It's always reviewable.
Took a hellacious lick from behind, though, to watch Schrader hear from.
But if they blow the whistle on the field, the instant replay is not a factor, but I'll bet this ball shows loose. He's got it out there, not taking very good care of it. And then Connor hits him from behind, and that ball is loose.
That's a big hitter, too. Darian Connor, a 260-pound outside linebacker.
Flag thrown.
Line judge fires one up. I mean, it went up like a mortar shot. He wanted that one to be seen. He might be getting some talk from the Falcon bench he's not pleased with.
Yeah, that may be unsportsmanlike.
Yep.
It is.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Atlanta bench. Yep. It's 15 yards. First down.
That line judge has been, his ears are burning this entire first half. Jerry Glanville and his staff been all over him, but that's a cheap 15 yards for the Raiders when they haven't been able to buy many yards at all. It's all right to get your team up and intimidating. And this is the play, once again, that Jerry Glanville is questioning. Why it didn't go to replay.
This Darian Connor Trump, he's something to behold.
Big guy. That ball is loose. There is no question about that. But it was not reviewed because the whistle was blown on the field.
Now, the Falcon following. Picks up the decibel level as Schrader fires a low ball that skips in incomplete. Tim Brown was the intended receiver. Jim McKyer was covering on the play. Jerry Glanville, we saw him Friday. He was going out to run his 4.5 miles. He said, they've got me doing it 3 times a week. I dread that every other day.
He's done one thing here.
He got away with words, doesn't he?
He has sold tickets. He has sold tickets here in Atlanta, and he is still drawn with that line judge.
Second down and 10. Roger Craig slashes into the left side of the Falcon defense. The wave of black jerseys throws him back. Of a gain on the play again for the Raiders, who've not been able to run the ball against a team that allowed 5.2 yards to the rush on the average through the first 3 weeks of play. Now the 2-minute warning is given, and the Falcons lead at 7-0.
Bulletin from Chevy Truck. Now get $1,000 cash back on every new 1991 Chevy full-size. The best cash back offer on America's best-selling pickup. Now through September 25th, $1,000 on every new 1991 Chevy full-size pickup. Every half-ton, 3/4 ton, 1 ton. Every 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, all with $1,000 cash back. You must take retail delivery from dealer stock by September 25th. See your Chevy dealer for details and get $1,000 cash back now.
In financial matters, as in life, everybody's different. Different needs, different goals. The Principal Financial Group understands. Our financial services are as unique and individual as you are. Personalized solutions that offer each customer an advantage. That's the Principal Edge. It's made us one of America's largest. So for diversified products that fit your financial needs to the letter, look for the Principal Edge.
Oil, the lifeblood of your engine. So the most vital organ is your oil filter. That's why Fram introduces Extra Guard. New glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter. New Fram Extra Guard, the best protection ever.
If your face were square, shaving would be simple, but your face has curves. You need the Schick Tracer, with a blade that flexes to put more of the blade edge against your skin. Tracer from Schick traces every curve on your face.
Next weekend, a great golf tradition comes to NBC. Payne Stewart and Paul Azinger lead the U.S. against Europe's best, including Seve Ballesteros and Ian Woosnam. The pride of yesterday and the pride of today in an unrivaled testimony to golf. The Ryder Cup on NBC.
A momentary silence from Jerry Glanville, who's been talking the whole time. Saying the right things because he got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty and a 15-yard assessment against his team that gives the Raiders their best field position. Now the Raiders have 3rd down and 8, trailing in the game 7-0. 1:55 to play in the first half. Blitz. Schrader eludes it, makes the throw. Mervyn Fernandez, and he's going to go in, down at the 3-yard line on an open field tackle by Jordan. Ryan Jordan saves a touchdown, but the Raiders now have it 1st and goal inside the 5.
Huge play by Jay Schrader. Bobby Butler comes on the blitz on the outside. This is McKyer pushing and shoving match. Schrader avoids the blitz. McKyer almost gets his hand on the ball. Fernandez does a great job, and man, the credit's got to go to Jay Schrader. Watch the blitz. Butler, 23, has him dead to rights. I don't know how he sees him, but Butler misses that tackle. Schrader rights himself, and that big rifle arm gets it to Fernandez for a huge play.
Now the Raiders go with their power alignment. Fernandez comes to the sideline. Schrader's looking to throw. Guns it into the end zone. Touchdown Los Angeles. As the Raiders, Andrew Glover, a rookie tight end, fields the ball for the touchdown, and now the extra point that can tie the game.
And now that unsportsmanlike conduct against Jerry Glanville looms as the biggest play in this first half.
Andrew Glover's 2nd reception as an NFL player and his 1st for a touchdown. Raiders think he has an upside that's just unbelievable. A big, fluid, rangy player from Grambling. Good hands, runs well. That time got himself open, and as you point out, Trump, the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty kept the drive alive. Now Jaeger drives through the extra point, and the game is tied 7-all. Get the feeling this is going to be a good one to the final gun.
Inside your smooth-running engine is a torture chamber. And under these grueling conditions, only one leading motor oil meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown. Castrol, the only leading motor oil that provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol. After all, why make things tougher on your engine? Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Let's face it, dot matrix printers just don't fly anymore. After all, they're noisy, and they take up a lot of space. You see, Canon Bubble Jet personal printers give you a crisp laser quality.
That dot matrix prices!
Bubble Jet personal printers from Canon.
Please dispose of your old printer properly.
Here's news. If your athlete's foot won't go away, you could have more than athlete's foot. You could have a secondary yeast infection. That's right, yeast.
Only Mycotin cures both athletes' foot and secondary yeast infections with myconazole. Step up to the mic. Mycotin.
NBC presents Dolly Parton in a revealing television role.
Is this what you wanted?
You're gorgeous.
She had what every man desired. But one man desired too much.
If you hurt me, I swear I'll kill you.
A world premiere movie about the pain behind the fame. Wild Texas Wind on NBC Monday.
It's Saturday Night Live. The season premieres with host Michael Jordan and musical guest Public Enemy. Air times this Saturday.
From behind the offense, Jay Schrader looking exclusively at Andrew Glover. He does a great job of adjusting. He lets Tuggle 58 go by, and this is a nice catch.
Terrific catch.
Comes back to it. And, of course, Jay Schrader's reaction with very little offense in this first half. Watch Schrader when he gets it in there.
Yeah. Schrader's really stood in under the pressure, and now the kickoff as we go to live action. The ball is drilled by Jaeger deep into the end zone, and Deion Sanders has to down it there. And the Falcons will go on offense 1st and 10 at their 20. You cannot overplay the significance of the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Jerry Glanville of the Falcons that kept the Raider drive alive. Giants up 13-0 on Cleveland. Green Bay a surprise leader over the Dolphins. The ITT 10-minute ticker. Bobby Brister's thrown for 2 touchdowns for the Steelers. New England continues to lead Houston. Washington leading winless Cincinnati. New Orleans a 3-0 team, shutting out Minnesota so far. And the Colts, who've yet to win a game, up at the half by 3 on the Lions. NFL Live will give you the complete stories, the scores, the big plays. And we go to halftime. Right now we have 54 seconds to play. Chris Miller throws downfield, and the ball is taken in beautifully by Mike Pritchard. Tremendous reception by Pritchard, who turned back to the wrong side to take it down for a first down. Clock running. Back to the line of scrimmage, the hurry-up offense, the red gun. Certainly produced a lot of problems for the Raiders against Houston. Another throw, another catch. This is Andre Rison. Now they're going to rule he was out of bounds. Didn't have both feet in. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. It does stop the clock with 29 seconds to play in the half. Jerry Glanville, he's just not... He never gives up. You know, he kind of portrays that image with the black uniform and everything. Tells his team it's us against the world. Nobody likes us anywhere on the face of the earth, including our own fans. And his team feeds off of that attitude. Miller takes a drop, makes a throw. Connection to Andre Rison, who tries to duck the pursuer, Ronnie Lott. It is good for a first down to the 45-yard line, and the Falcons stop the clock with 20 seconds left to go in the half. You see, Rison is the inside receiver. Raiders are going with the zone. Their idea is, after they catch it, then we'll nail him. Miller finds him wide open, and smartly this time Rison gets on the ground before losing 8 or 10. See, people in Atlanta are going to say, look, this red gun is working. Why don't we stay in this formation? Well, the Raiders are playing the prevent game here. To make sure that no receiver gets deeper than their deepest defensive back. And you hope the clock gets them before they're in position to kick the field goal or score the touchdown. The overall numbers not very impressive, particularly the net rushing yards. Raiders have rushed for a total of 24 yards in the game on 12 carries, averaging 2 yards a rush. The Falcons have rushed for a total of 9 yards in the game. Actually 8 yards on 9 carries, 0.9 a rush. On first down, Miller throws the out pattern, but his receiver in that area, Thomas, was running a fly. Nobody home. That's the problem with this new offense, the red gun with June Jones. The thing that makes it work picture perfect in Houston is that Warren Moon has had his 4 receivers there for 3 years. And with June Jones coming in, here's the offensive coordinator on the sideline. This red gun or run and shoot offense needs great communication, great feel between the quarterback and the receiver. And sometimes it's not going to be there. That was one of the times. This is the red gun with the 4 wideouts, 2 deployed to either side on a 2nd down and 10 play. Miller stands in, throws, makes the connection to Andre Rison as they start to near long field goal range. He gets out of bounds at the 33-yard line. 12 seconds left. Time for one more throw to a sideline.
36, McDaniel in the coverage. Excellent batter run by Rison. Very sharp cut, just leaves McDaniel in the dust and gets the first down. So they basically have a chance for one more play. Now, do you make the choice to go in the end zone or go for the first down?
I think you throw a quick out and kick a field goal. 12 seconds, they can get a pass play off.
Yeah, but you need about 6 or 8 seconds for that field goal. So the quarterback can't go to his second or third choice.
Down. Miller with a quick drop. Now here comes the rush. He's burning some time trying to get away, and he wisely runs out of bounds at the 29-yard line with 5 seconds left. So Chris Miller, his wits about him, with the Raiders in pursuit, gets some yardage to make it a shorter field goal and does stop the clock with time to kick it.
Well, certainly in this situation, you don't want the sack. And look at Anthony Smith. He almost runs down that quarterback. So
Norm Johnson, the longtime Seattle Seahawk, he played there 9 years before he was cut this summer. He can kick it a long way, although his home arena for the last 9 seasons has been on artificial turf indoors. Wind not a factor today. It's a beautiful day in Georgia. Temperature about 70. Johnson spins up a field goal try, and he's wide right. So the first half ends in a standoff. Falcons 7 and the Raiders 7. And looming very large in the first half developments, the personal foul call against the Atlanta coach that kept a Raider drive alive that they subsequently scored on. 7-7. NFL Live is coming up next. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Seven is the count. Raiders and the Falcons. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy as we now take a look at the Keystone halftime stats.
And the thing that jumps out at you there are the rushing yards for the two teams. 24 yards rushing for the Raiders, just 8 for the Falcons. And yesterday, Art Shell said that our offensive line is not dominated at the line of scrimmage, and that's what we need to do. Well, they got 12 rushes for 24 yards. They're nowhere close to dominating this Atlanta Falcons defense at the line of scrimmage.
Raiders will kick it off to open the third quarter. Jeff Jager teeing up the ball at his 35-yard line. Deion Sanders, the celebrated one, back deep. Very shortly you'll be able to purchase your Deion Sanders primetime wardrobe. It'll be on the market soon. Coming out with a line of clothing. Here's a kickoff taken by Sanders at the 10-yard line. Out to the 20 and a marker down. So while the Falcons send out their offense, we wait for Johnny Greer. A legal block, a hold call on the return by the Falcons. That'll set them back. And so again, they'll have the long field to go from where this drive starts to open the third quarter.
Holding, number 54 on the return. First down.
That's Robert Lyles. Very impressive beginning of this season for the Raider defense. You can't argue with their performance. Shut out Colts last week. Falcons 2 quarters this week. Of course, if you just tuned in, the 7 points scored by the Falcons came on a fumble recovered and run for a touchdown.
Chris Miller now sets his offense. 3 wide receivers in the game. Now a 4th as Pritchard goes in motion. He's also a running back. And they go straight up the middle. Running with the ball now is the rookie Eric Pegram. 5'9", 188. Trying to weave his way for some yards into the Raider defense. He gets ahead out to the 21-yard line.
Well, now this is the true run and shoot. Count the guys at the line of scrimmage, and if you've got enough guys on your offensive line to push around those guys on the defensive line, you run it. Anthony Smith helps on the tackle. Eddie Anderson also on the tackle. But it looks like now the Falcons' choice is to go exclusively with the red gun. 4 wide receivers.
Like Houston, red gun quarterback starts under the center. Buffalo's run and shoot starts out of the shotgun. Most do. That takes away pretty much most of the running game. Certainly the deception that goes with play faking. As Pegram gets the call again, and he is taken down by Terry McDaniel, the left cornerback for the Raiders. Howie Long, Bob Golick, Scott Davis, and Greg Townsend across the defensive front of Los Angeles, with McDaniel and Washington the corners, Lott and Anderson the safeties, Moss, Ellison are the linebackers when they go to their base defense, going a lot with extra defensive backs. Raiders, as you know, were blasted first week of the season by the run and shoot of the Oilers at the Houston Astrodome when they were beaten 47-17. Now on 3rd and less than 2, Pegram breaks ahead, but the play is whistled dead by a marker before the snap.
Ball start, 75 offense. Still 3rd down.
That's on Chris Hinton. That was a pretty quick snap. They tried to run what appeared to be a tricky formation, and they didn't let Hinton get set. Those are the little things that just kill an offense when you're playing a team like the Raiders.
This guy doesn't do much wrong. One of the best linemen in pro football.
Yeah, he came here from Indianapolis and was a left tackle his entire career. Makes the transition to right tackle. Nobody's business. No problem.
There's a Hall of Fame offensive tackle where Hinton could one day be. Art Shell, the head man of the Raiders. Miller throws, and Sean Collins goes for the ball. Lionel Washington picks it up. It looks to be a live ball. It could be a Raider touchdown. It is. So an extraordinary play by Lionel Washington, and the Raiders take the lead. Almost a mirror of the early going the other way around when the Raiders had the ball. And a fumble down at this end of the field was returned by Tuggle of Atlanta for the first score.
Got to take a look on replay to see if it's in fact a catch. But it's ruled a catch on the field. Well, I don't understand why this ball, they try to run a pick, but Washington does not buy it. He's right inside. From that angle, certainly looks like the catch.
Well, the referee is looking right at it, so they saw it all the way. And so all of a sudden, the Raider defense strikes for a touchdown. And the Raiders take the lead 13-7. Tremendous play by Lionel Washington.
See if we got a different angle here. He drops left and throws back right, pressure in his face, and he can't really follow through. There's not enough to overturn that play on the field. If it's called a touchdown on the field. Okay, now what they're ruling is he did catch it. Was there contact that had him down on the ground?
Good point.
That's exactly what they're trying to rule. Is Sean Collins in contact with Lionel Washington at the point where the interception is made? Is his knee down? I think it's going to come back down. The Raiders are going to get the ball, but I think they're going to say Collins did make contact with Washington, therefore he's down. The Raiders are going to get it, but back at the spot of the interception. The Raiders came into the game today with no interceptions through the first 3 games. Now they have 2.
After further review, it was ruled an intercepted pass, and the runner is down at the 18-yard line.
Yeah.
First down Raiders.
Oh, that hurts Lionel. He wanted that TD. DBs don't get many of them.
Especially not that easy.
But I think, as you pointed out, Trump, that Sean Collins did indeed have a piece of him when all he had to do was make contact when he was down.
Miller looks hurt.
He had a fractured clavicle, his collarbone last year. Got it in the 13th game of the season. He's got 7 screws and a plate in that shoulder, his throwing shoulder.
He doesn't look good either. Backup is Billy Joe Tolliver, the young man acquired from San Diego.
Now the Raiders go with the game 7-7. Touchdown comes off the board. Raiders 1st and 10 inside the Atlanta 20. Throw, right through the hands of the intended receiver. Fernandez puts his hands up, and Falcons almost had it right back the other way with a pickoff.
That carried off a couple of Falcons and a Raider. Going to happen right in front of you. Schrader doesn't take anything off this one. It's the foot of Tuggle. You see Fernandez running the pick underneath. He's wide open. Tries to get a little too fancy with that reception. Darian Connor right there to make him change his mind about coming in the middle of this defense foul.
Raiders dodge a bullet. Now it's 2nd and 10. Roger Craig looks for room. Penalty marker comes in. Often a hold against the offensive line. Umpire threw it in. Game clock is stopped with 12:40 to play in the 3rd quarter. Holding it is against the Raiders.
Oh, Don, I'm telling you, you cannot give this Falcon defense enough credit. To this point now, the Raiders have rushed for 24 yards on 12 carries.
Jesse Tuggle, 58. He calls all the defensive signals and is the defensive captain.
88 offense. Still 2nd down.
Tight end Ethan Horton. Doug Shively, the assistant head coach of the Falcons for defense, and Jerry Glanville. Not as many penalties in this game as I thought we would have. I kind of figured that we'd need at least a penalty box, maybe shut down for a few minutes to have everyone collect their thoughts, but not many.
2nd down and 20 now for the Raiders as they're firing and called. Here's another penalty marker at the snap of the ball. Throw is incomplete at the 19-yard line. Intended again for Mervyn Fernandez.
That's going to be against Atlanta. Defensive end was in the neutral zone. Offsides defense. Free play for the Raiders.
That'll make it 2nd down and 15. Coach Glanville seems to have settled down now in the 3rd quarter after that constant barrage of sweet nothings in the year of the...
56 defense. Still 2nd down. With the clock operator, please reset the clock to 12:29.
You see the upper right corner of the screen. That's Darian Connor, 56 in the neutral zone. Free play for the Raiders. They could not take advantage of it.
This Johnny Greer's the kind of a referee you need for a game like this, Trump. He's got his stuff together. You know he's boss out there. This could ignite at any time. 2nd down and 15 now for the Raiders. Game tied in the 3rd quarter. 12:29 to play in it. Now the Raiders seem to be drawing up a play.
11 guys up for the Falcons.
Ad-libbing. There's a marker down, and so is quarterback Jay Schrader is coming up to get him with Jeff Donaldson on a blitz.
Another fight breaks out in the far side of the field. Willie Galt, someone else.
Willie Galt back on his home turf of Griffin, Georgia.
Scott Case and Willie Galt getting into it there. With what Glanville calls the sticky defense. He puts 11 guys at the line of scrimmage, and I ask him why sticky. Look at them all up there. Everybody's up there. And he says, looks like the defense is offsides again. It's like Mo Gardner's 67 jump, but Donaldson makes the sack. And he said it's called sticky because we either get you or you get us. Big on both sides. Puts everybody in a sticky spot.
We have 2 fouls on the defense. Offside, defense, personal foul.
That's a first down.
40
personal
on the
foul.
defense. The personal foul will be enforced.
That's 2 penalties against this football team that have kept drives alive. One on him and one on Brian Jordan.
Personal foul came when Scott Case was mixing it up with Willie Galt. Strange day on the field by rushing. No first downs today for the Raiders. They have no first downs rushing, and the Falcons have but 1.
Johnny Greer is taking a timeout now. I'm going to talk to Jerry Glanville. You're right. Johnny Greer is in control here. I like this on Johnny Greer's part. He goes to the sideline, gives his head coach a chance. Tells him what his crew members have said. Johnny Greer is a good listener. I often
to a certain point.
Yes. How often do you see this in the NFL? Not often. But look, he gets Jerry Glenville to back off. There's a man in control.
Very much so. As Coach Shell on the other sideline, waiting to see if his Raiders can get it in. They trailed in the game until well into the second quarter when they finally got a touchdown and a quick throw. Short yardage play from Jay Schrader to rookie tight end Andrew Glover.
Well, it gives the Raiders a first down, which is the most important thing in this drive.
Personal foul. So now the ball is positioned inside the 15-yard line at about the 13-yard line of the Falcons. Roger Craig, 9-year pro from Nebraska, going wide, then cutting back, and he's inside down to about the 8-yard line. Roger Craig got about 5 yards on the play before strong safety Brian Jordan knocked him down. As we look at the Hertz 10-minute ticker, Giants continue to shut out the Browns. Green Bay continues to lead the favored Dolphins, a 1-point lead for the Steelers at Philadelphia. New England going for its second win, and it would be a big surprise over undefeated Houston. New Orleans looking early like a possible Super Bowl team from the NFC, looking to go 4-0 on the year.
Here we go sticky again. Now they're back out of it.
Steve Smith up the middle, trap blocking, allows him to get down to the 5-yard line. On second and goal from where the ball was spotted was the 10-yard line.
So the Falcons defense did an excellent job there because they made the Raiders audible and just go to a base play. Jesse Tuggle finally makes the tackle along with Mike Gann, but it almost made the Raiders go away from a play. They had to audible to accommodate that sticky defense.
Good game and a long way to go. 10:42 to play in the third quarter. Raiders set it up now. Third down and 8. Schrader in trouble. On the run. Fires. Open man. Touchdown to Ethan Horton. And markers come in after the play. Another personal foul will be signaled.
Well, Schrader has done a great job.
Oh, he has.
Avoiding the sack, avoiding the pressure.
They're going to throw Case out of here. All the conversation and late hitting is counterproductive. He might be done. Scott Case got a second personal foul call. We'll see if it was him definitely. It looks like it might have been.
Both touchdowns today by the Raiders.
Personal foul. 88 offense. Personal foul. Number 40 defense. The penalty. Offset. It's still a touchdown.
So it's after the catch was made.
It was not Scott. It was Brian Jordan that the personal foul was signaled against.
Watch the job that Schrader does. Again, they got him dead to rights. That's Mo Gardner, 67. Schrader does a great job of avoiding the rush, and again, that strength of arm.
Tremendous play by Schrader.
2 touchdowns by the Raiders, both of them to tight ends. Good job of adjustment by the tight end. Schrader able to get that ball right to the guy that's open.
Jordan hits him in the face, and all he does is go back and talk to him, and he gets a personal foul also. Now the extra point attempt by Jager. 10:28 to go in the third quarter. And the Raiders take the lead for the first time in the game as they go out front 14-7. And we'll be back with the Raiders kickoff in a moment.
Full roast out here. We're 1,000 miles from anywhere. Is that a ship? No one will save us.
3 Miller Genuine Drafts.
Filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Making a sports card seems mandatory to mention how fast it can go. All right.
With an overhead cam engine capable of producing 224 pounds of torque, the new Subaru SVX can reach speeds in excess of 140 miles an hour. But how important is that? Most of the time you're stuck in traffic, and anyway, it's stupid, dangerous, and a waste of precious fossil fuels to drive like that. Instead, why not mention the things you shouldn't mention about a sports car? A strong weld, an anti-lock braking system, over 24 safety features, the ability to carry 4 adults, all-wheel drive, engineering that endures. Still, if it's speed you want, we promise you'll easily be able to drive as fast as the law allows. Subaru, what to drive.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Subaru, It's What to Drive. By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. By ITT Corporation, building people's dreams. And by Hertz. We never forget who made us #1. We're Hertz. We're America's wheels.
Jaeger approaches the ball. It's a high spinner as the Raiders have taken a 14-7 lead. Now on the return is Brian Jordan, who is an upback in the block. Jordan does well returning the ball for Atlanta as he gets across the 30. Markers down again, though, on the return. Derek Crudup was down to make the tackle on special teams for Los Angeles.
Back to the touchdown from behind the end zone. Ethan Horton makes the catch. And you can see what happens. Brian Jordan pushes him in the face. Ethan Horton comes back. He's somewhat incensed. A little shove to the face mask and then a right cross, and they call the flag on both of them, offsetting penalties. But it's pretty much been the nature of the game as it was set up. That you intimidate through execution, not after the play is over. That's the 8th penalty.
Illegal hands, 82, kicking team will penalize 10 yards and re-kick.
Jamie Holland, a rare penalty against the kicking team on a coverage.
As I was saying, that's the 8th penalty against the Falcons, and that's now the 3rd penalty against the Raiders. Make it 4th. And I'm not sure I've ever seen a penalty on the kicking team on a kickoff other than offsides.
Big Art Shell looks on. His lament when we talked with him yesterday. Our game has been knocking people off the line of scrimmage, and we haven't been doing that. Certainly not today, as neither team has been able to run the ball.
Raiders just 31 yards rushing on 14 carries. Oh, they're not going to re-kick it. They're going to give him the 10 yards from the spot where the receiver was down.
Falcons have only 21 yards rushing on 12 carries, less than 2 yards a try. Next Sunday, following Ryder Cup golf, NBC Sports presents more great NFL action, beginning with NFL Live at the special time of 3:30 Eastern Time. Some of you will see Dan Marino and the Dolphins take on the New York Jets. Others will see Steve DeBerg and the Chiefs face divisional rivals San Diego. Check local listings for the game in your area next Sunday on NBC. Right now it's 1st and 10. Good play fake by Miller. Throws to the open man. He gets the ball to one of his tight ends. That was Gary Wilkins. A big back used primarily as a blocker out of Georgia Tech.
Look at him. He looked like he really hurt his arm the last time he was hit. And, of course, he has that, as you said, that plate and 7 screws in his shoulder. It'll be interesting to see just how well he can throw the ball, Chris Miller. They're saying it's his upper arm. Where does the upper arm stop and the shoulder begin?
Ooh, those Raiders will get out a Phillips screwdriver and do some of those. They could worsen a bad situation as it's now 2nd down and 4. Hand off to Pegram, the rookie. He's tough. Keeps on trucking, not done yet. Down to the 40, and markers come in.
That's going to be a face mask penalty against the Raiders. Now there's another flag up the field. Well, one official picked up a flag. Terry McDaniel.
Personal foul, face mask, 36 defense, 1st down.
behind the defense, you see about 2 or 3 broken tackles here. Here's one, Eddie Anderson. 93 Townsend goes for the ball instead of the player. And then McDaniel, left hand on the face mask, drags Pegram down. Nice pickup.
And so often where that face mask goes, the head must follow.
No question about that.
This Pegram's a good-looking back. Out of North Texas State. Now the Falcons start to challenge, and here's a throw into the end zone. Open for the score is Broussard. Touchdown, Atlanta. Broussard with his first touchdown of the new season. And the Falcons answer the Raiders' drive with one of their own for a tying touchdown.
Nice rollout by Chris Miller. Just eases it over. Ronnie Lott, 42. Anderson is the man that's supposed to be there in coverage. And it looks like they're looking at it again to see if he was inbounds when he caught that ball or not.
After further review, the play stands. Touchdown.
The official in perfect position, staring right down at his feet, so it seemed to be good all the way. And now the extra point attempt by Norm Johnson following Broussard's touchdown reception. Bullhead, the punter, is the holder. Johnson, you remember, missed a makeable field goal towards the end of the first half. But he hits the extra point, and we're again tied. Now it's 14-all, and we'll be back with the Atlanta Falcons kickoff after this.
A car is a car. It won't make you handsomer, prettier, or younger, and if it improves your standing with the neighbors, then you live among snobs. A car is steel, electronics, rubber, plastic, and glass. A machine. And in the end, may the best machine win. Subaru, what to drive.
We built this business. After my accident, they advanced my insurance benefits and built me a ramp and got me back on my feet.
Built this business.
Your people really care. It meant a lot to us.
It was the global telecommunications link-up they built. Saved the negotiation.
We built this business to build your dreams. You want to rent a car, but your money's tight. Give Hertz a call and they'll treat you right. Hertz Freedom Rates. Put Hertz behind you all the way. Hertz Freedom Rates. For as little as $19 a day. 3 miles all the way. Free mileage all across the USA with Hertz Freedom Rates. Now everyone can drive America's wheels. Hertz, we're America's wheels.
Everyone wanted a fashion queen dead. Someone got their wish. One man knows who.
Harry Mason.
His first new mystery of the season. Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on NBC.
From behind the defense, this play fools everybody. The bootleg by Chris Miller. No coverage on Broussard, who was flanked as a wide receiver. Ronnie Lott, 42 underneath. Eddie Anderson there. Broussard does a great job of catching the ball, staying in bounds. 6 points, Falcons. Nice drive. 6 plays, 66 yards.
4th touchdown pass of the season for Chris Miller. Now the high-spinning kickoff by Johnson is going to be fielded by Jamie Holland as he crosses the 20. Penalty marker in again. What does it play without one? In the end, the penalty could decide this game. The legal block is the preliminary signal from referee Johnny Greer. Next
Personal
weekend.
Foul, blocking below the waist. 88 on the receiving team. First down.
John Horton next weekend witness all the drama and emotion of a great golf tradition when NBC Sports presents live coverage of the Ryder Cup from the brand new Ocean Course on Kiowa Island, South Carolina. You'll see the 1991 U.S. Open champion Payne Stewart and the always steady Paul Azinger lead the USA against Europe's best, including Seve Ballesteros and Masters champion Ian Woosnam. The Ryder Cup next weekend on NBC. Bob Trumpy will be at it.
Amen, brother.
Right now, we're watching the Raiders go first and 10. Schrader stands in. Hard throw, skips off his receiver, Roger Craig.
You know, some quarterbacks have an easy ball to catch. Roger Craig has spent his entire career catching the ball from Joe Montana. And Joe Montana throws a very tight spiral, lots of revolutions, and it's a very soft ball to catch. Jay Schrader, being a former baseball player, guns the ball everywhere. And even though it's the 4th game of the season, and Craig has had all summer to practice with him, I think sometimes these rockets just surprise you. That caromed off his shoulder pads. Roger Craig is a great receiver.
You pointed out, all-time leader among running backs in career receptions. Now the Raiders finally get the big run on a 2nd down and 10 play. The power back, Steve Smith, takes it straight ahead, and he is ahead out to across the 20-yard line.
That is the longest Raiders run from scrimmage so far today. 10 yards to the fullback, lead block by Roger Craig. And this time they get somebody on Jesse Tuggle, who last year made 200 tackles for this Atlanta Falcons defense. And a 1st down pickup. That is the first rushing 1st down, 2nd rushing 1st down the Raiders have had all day.
And the Falcons have only 2, 3. Leaving way early was a Raider on the left side. Bruce Wilkerson, the left tackle.
Ball start. 68 offense. Still 1st down.
Boy, was that a false start. He was 5 yards across the line of scrimmage.
Any review there. Let's check the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Browns are on the board, but down by 10. Packers continue to lead. Philadelphia's now come from behind to lead the Steelers. New England, what could be the upset of the season so far, up on undefeated Houston. Washington by 10 over the Bengals. New Orleans still a shutout leader over Minnesota. And Detroit has now gone out in front 23-10 over the Colts. Another run. Raiders take it right at the Falcon defense on 1st down, 1st and 15. Rick Bryan makes the stop. Steve Smith again, the ball carrier.
You just can't give enough credit to both of these defensive line. Falcons defensive line. Raiders 2.8 yards per carry. Steve Smith bangs it in there. 77. Rick Bryan 58. Tuggle. They get a lot of people on the ball every time.
Raiders send all that speed out to different flanks now. Tim Brown in the game, coming in motion. 2nd down and 14. Here's a blitz. Screen pass, and the defense was right there. Torrey Evans, number 74. On an outstanding defensive play, the whole Falcon defense in position.
That was a screen pass, and the nose tackle reads it right in front of the 13. He runs a game, and when the tackle releases in front of him, well, he's right there to make the tackle. Outstanding performance by this Falcons defense.
14 all. 6 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Now the Raiders need long yardage on 3rd down. 3rd down and 14. This could be coming again. Lone setback is in. Here comes Connor from the outside backer position. Schrader in trouble. Has to eat the ball. A sack at the 9.
Sack of the day for the Falcons. Tim Green, headbutter, and Rick Bryan.
The obligatory headbutt.
Nobody to throw it here. Throw it to here. Schrader's looking all over the place. Can't find anybody. Tim Green makes the first contact. Rick Bryan there. Connor there. Big sack for the Falcons.
Now the punt by Gossett. He hits a beauty under pressure. And Deion Sanders has to fair catch the ball back at his 42-yard line. A terrific job punting under pressure by Jeff Gossett. When we return to Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium, the Falcons have the ball in this tie game.
unfiltered. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered it's...
This car. Look at it again. Look at this offer. Look at it long enough to actually read it. Look what's parked in your driveway. Look at it again. Look both ways as you cross the street to your Subaru dealer. Wait, look at our logo first.
The moment is finally here. Today we unveil the new model you've been waiting to take out on the road. Introducing the sleek, aerodynamic, easy-to-handle KFC Go Bucket. It comfortably feeds a family of 4. Available in 3 custom-designed exteriors at a manufacturer's suggested retail price of just $5.99. Considerably less than, say, a new car. Come over to KFC and drive one home today.
Dear USA, there's a city with rings more precious than gold, reflected in magic mirrors, with towers of ivory rising to the sky. A magical city where the friends you make are friends for life. It's Barcelona. It's in Spain.
On the sideline, I'm sure one of Vice President Dan Quayle's favorite people, Tim Green, an aspiring lawyer, goes to Syracuse in the offseason.
An academic All-American Syracuse. Hopefully you won't end up a palooka after all these headbutts. Falcons go to the run, and again Pegram showing his stuff, gets it ahead on fighting yards out to the 45-yard line. Got 5 when there was nothing there. Bob Golick, the nose tackle.
This is the way the Falcons started their last drive. Run first and then throw later.
Bob Golick's been doing the job, a standout player now in his 12th NFL season, a very valuable Plan B acquisition for the Raiders coming from the Cleveland Browns. He's been to the Pro Bowl 3 times. 2nd down and 6. They try Pegram again. This time he escapes people. Wow. And fights ahead for 3 yards when he was stopped seemingly for a loss.
There's no way in the world this kid should gain 3 yards on this carry. At the point of attack, there is nothing. Watch this spin. He avoids that one. There's Winston Moss, got him dead to rights. He gets by him. Howie Long tries to wrap him up. This guy looks like a circus right here, a carnival right here. A whirling dervish with the football. Brings up 3rd and short, though. That's a big pickup for the Falcons.
Doing it with quickness, not with size. 5'9", 188 pounds, Eric Pegram.
Now the momentum is now on the side of the Falcons. This is a huge 3rd down conversion for them, Don.
They need just 2 on 3rd down. And they go to Pegram, and he gets it. Another marker fired in. This one comes from the umpire. The man who stands behind the linebackers looking right at the quarterback.
That's a bad sign.
Usually it's on the offense, holding. And that's the signal that Johnny Greer gives, so a 1st down run by Pegram is negated.
Well, that was a big 3rd down. Now the momentum of the offense and the Falcons kind of negated somewhat.
Holding 78 offense. Still 3rd down.
Mike Ken, offensive left tackle. This is just for the 3rd quarter. I thought there'd be a lot of flags on the field, and in the 3rd quarter there'd been more than a share. Now again, still 3rd down and 10. A huge 3rd down conversion here for the Falcons. To this point in the ball game, pretty good percentage. 4 of 8 so far.
Winston Moss coming from the outside. Number 99 collars and throws down for a sack. Quarterback Chris Miller.
Well, give that one to Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator of the Raiders. From the left-hand side of the screen, watch 38 come out there, try to make the block. It's Keith Jones on Winston Moss, and you just got a big guy on a little guy. and Keith Jones can't make the block. He ends up getting a sack. Great call by Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator.
There he is. Big Winston Moss at 6'5", 250 pounds, coming from the outside to get the sack. And now the Falcons must punt it if they can. A one-hop snap. Fielded by Tim Brown. And Brown takes it out to the 34-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will go on offense. First down and 10 with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Game tie. Tuggle was the tackler.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents Legends of the Game. He was a combination of massive strength that drove tacklers 5 yards downfield and lateral mobility that compared favorably with any running back in the league. Considered by many the greatest offensive lineman ever to play the game. Who was this legend?
Teenagers are 3 times more likely to die driving at night than during the day.
Kid? Kid? With me, kid? Excuse me, with me.
Talk to your teenager about serious driving issues before someone else has to do the talking.
Someone call her parents.
John Hanna ensured safe passage for Patriots running backs and assured his place in the Hall of Fame. A true legend of the game.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sport Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Tonight, James Garner's the man with the show everyone's talking about. The critics say it scores a hole-in-one. Man of the people. Then meet an odd couple of cops from Pacific Station.
I'll grab a burger later. You gonna eat steroids, hormones, and pesticides? With the pickle and the sesame seed bun.
Robert Guillaume in the show the critics love. Starting at 8, 7 Central, NBC Tonight.
Fritz Miller just felt the force of the Raider pass rush. Sacked on third down by Winston Moss. Now the subsequent punt. And the ball is positioned at the 34-yard line where the Raiders go. First down and 10 in a 14-14 game. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta. 3:20 to play, third quarter.
That late substitution by Tim Brown just messed up the defense of the Atlanta Falcons. Look at them switching.
They go to the run. Roger Craig powers the ball. Craig, like so many of the great ones, plays every down like the game is riding on it. Spends everything he's got every carry.
Montoya's out with a pulled groin muscle, and look, the Raiders going right back to the line of scrimmage to keep this defensive set on the field. The Falcons have, the Raiders have 3 wide receivers, and the Falcons don't have enough defensive backs to take advantage of it. I'm betting they try something deep here. They got all the speed on this side of the field. Galt inside, Tim Brown outside, and they run it.
Run it they do on a second down and 4 play. And they got ahead for maybe 2.5, 3 yards. Darian Connor, who's made a lot of tackles, made the stop as Marcus Allen provides some insight for Coach Shell.
Got a player down here for the Falcons, too. Boy, Don, Raiders had the right defense in there, but they ran the wrong play in my estimation. They had Scott Case running man-to-man with Tim Brown. Do you like Tim Brown's chances in that spot? So do I.
Try to check who the injured Falcon is. That stops the clock with 2 minutes and 33 seconds to play in the third quarter. And we'll take a look at the Hertz 10-minute ticker. And here it is. Browns getting back in the game against the Giants. Bill Belichick, the defensive coordinator for the Giants Super Bowl team, now coaching Cleveland. Miami's come back to tie the Packers. Eagles have extended their lead to 9 points over the Steelers. Patriots continue to lead the unbeaten Oilers. Washington still up on Cincinnati. Darian Connor was down. New Orleans in command. This guy has played a terrific game for Atlanta. Darian Connor, a dominating outside backer from Jackson State.
He is one big dude. Bill Parcells liked him in the draft. He is a perfect size for. It looks like he got poked in the eye. He is a house under. He is a perfect size for a New York Giant linebacker, isn't he?
Very good player. He'll be back. They're down in 3 now for Schrader. They go to the draw play, and Roger Craig is taken down for no gain. Wow. Big defensive play by the Falcons. Mike Gann, number 76, made the stop. He wasn't ready to take a butt. He's butted out.
In this game, the Raiders have a grand total of 2 rushing first downs on 18 carries, just 52 yards, under a 3-yard per carry average. Not the kind of offense that Art Shell and the Raiders want to see.
Jeff Gossett into punt. Gann, who just made the tackle, has exceptional hearing. Many times in his career in college and in pros, he'll stand at the line and will hear what the play call is in the opposing huddle.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. He's won games for Notre Dame doing it. Here's the kick downfield, taken at the 20-yard line. Deion Sanders breaks it. Fine time down the line, out to the 39-yard line. Next week, the NFL goes to week 5, and following Ryder Cup golf, NBC Sports presents more NFL action. NFL Live at a special time of 3:30 Eastern time. Among the games you'll see, the Dolphins versus the Jets. Kansas City goes against San Diego. Check local listings for the game in your area. Darian Connor, who got kicked in the eye, had a big swelling under it. Being attended to, he's made a load of tackles in on virtually every defensive play. Coming on the blitz down after down, keeping the pressure on Schrader. The game is tied 14-all. Good play fake, swing pass, and it's taken down by the tight end, Gary Wilkins.
Well, that play has worked. That's his second reception on the same play. The bootleg by Chris Miller. They throw the touchdown to Broussard in the end zone on the bootleg, and here's the bootleg again. He's out there by himself. He's open. Broussard, which should come in the picture here just to the left, he was also open. Mr. Moss dragged by Wilkins. His first down pickup, that has worked. That's something they can put in the bank and go to several times now.
They don't go to the tight end often. Wilkins had 1 catch coming into today's game. Third quarter winding down and out as we're down to 25 seconds to play in it. Pegram looks for a place to go and finds a little room. Head for 3 yards. On a first down carry, he's out to the pretty close to the 46-yard line of the Raiders. Bob Golick and Ricky Ellison were the tacklers for Los Angeles. And that will do it for 3 quarters of play. So still in the standoff, it was 7-7 at the half, and at the end of 3 quarters, it's 14-14. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Wednesday, Sam's caught in a squeeze play.
I help you, you help me.
Will he score with home runs or hormones? A seductive new Quantum Leap, NBC Wednesday.
You take me back to that feeling. When you want quality shocks and struts for most cars, vans, and light trucks, even imports, think CarQuest. CarQuest shocks and struts will help give you a smooth ride no matter what the road conditions. Choose from CarQuest gas charge shocks for the safest ride, or CarQuest air adjustable shocks that let you set the ride and comfort you want. And CarQuest keeps us rolling down the road.
How fast does the Chevy half-ton pickup go? Real fast, especially now that you can get $1,000 cash back on them. From now until September 25th, your Southern Best Chevy Geo dealers are giving $1,000 cash back on the #1 selling truck in America, the Chevy half-ton pickup. That means now you can save over $3,000. But you've got to move fast, because with $1,000 cash back, these trucks will move fast. See your Southern Best Chevy Geo dealer before September 25th.
A pro baseball team for Albany. We'll talk about it Monday at noon.
14-all as we come to the final quarter of this battle in Atlanta. Don Criqui with Bob Trump. You get the feeling, Trump, this thing could not be over after 4 quarters.
Yeah, we expected a battle, and we're getting a battle. Both defensive lines doing an outstanding job at the line of scrimmage, and that's really been kind of the tone of the game. Both offenses struggled and struggled big time throughout this game.
Penalty count coming back a little bit now. There was a deciding factor in the early going. The big penalty on Jerry Glanville, one Hill could live to regret. The personal foul that kept the Raiders scoring drive alive. Now both teams have settled in just to knock them out football. Taking no prisoners. Here come the Raiders as Miller lets it go long. Open man. It's caught for a touchdown by Michael Haynes. His head down and accelerates, stretches out to catch it. That is picture perfect. Put that one in the time capsule. That's the way they design them to work. A slow motion look, a perfect throw. Our producer today for NBC Sports is Victor Frank. Our director, Richard Klein. Executive producer, Terry O'Neill, as we see perfection with the long ball for the Falcons as they take the lead on the Raiders 21-14. Sir, Chris Miller likes it. You know, Don, in the middle of this reception, we'll come back and show you something. Just a beautiful job of acceleration by Haynes. He realized that ball was way out there. He put his head down, took a couple of big strides to catch up to it, and makes the catch. Now the chant rises up here at Fulton County Stadium. Beat LA. Downfield on the kickoff. Here comes Sam Grady. He's another burner with world-class speed. Olympic gold medal in the relay. But the Falcons, with their lanes well covered, stay in them, make the knockdown on special teams. Watch this. And again, watch what happens when he gets by. Looks back for the football, sees it thrown. I need more speed. Puts his head down. 1, 2 strides, turns around and looks again. Well, for young receivers out there, if you can teach yourself to do that, you got a place in this league. Great confidence in his ability. That head stays steady. Miller put it right on the money. You can keep your head when all about you. Now, losing theirs and blaming it on you, you clearly lost sight of the situation. And it's been that kind of a day here in Atlanta. Let's see if Schrader, he's looking to counter as he looks deep. There's a throw, and on the infield, Fernandez lost his footing, and the ball sailed overhead. Robert Lyles tipped that ball, Don. Lyles, the outside linebacker on the left. Schrader looking down the middle. Watch the tip. Just gets it out away from Fernandez. I think he makes that catch. Oh, we'll see this perfectly. McKyer 22. Fernandez does slip. Watch Lyles. Just knocks the ball away for an incompletion. The Braves have a very good fielding infield, although they didn't last night. They lost to the Dodgers. I don't know how they have it on this infield. It's the worst I've ever seen. It's made of gravel. Wait a minute. Taking a shot at the Braves infield? Not the way it plays, but what the field they have to play on. They've done a lot to try to refurbish this field. It annually has been the toughest field to play on because it gets so much action. The Falcons, the Braves, tractor pulls, rock concerts, everything goes on here. Yeah, they do that. Of course, this is the last season as you watch Fernandez mishandle this one. This is the last season that Atlanta will play here at Fulton County Stadium. They're building the Georgia Dome.
going to play inside starting next year. Rader, not good numbers. 9-23, not good numbers.
Got a long way to go. 14:31 to play. The Falcons holding a 7-point lead. The blitz is picked up. Long ball. And the coverage was right there. Willie Galt, a world-class sprinter. They keep talking about world-class speed, but it's out there in the number of people.
He tried to draw an interference flag. Watch the end of this play. Raiders do a good job of picking up the blitz, but watch what Galt does. He's trying to draw the flag. Bobby Butler did have a hand on him, but he's looking back at the ball. Kind of scattered like a covey of quail there. Overthrown. Incomplete.
Now back to live action. Here's the punt. Hit down by Jeff Gossage. Another good one that Deion Sanders fair catches at the 34-yard line. But the Falcons send their offense back out, holding a 7-point lead.
It's not a wagon, not a van, but whatever you're dragging, Expo can. Introducing Mitsubishi Expo and Expo LRV. Got some stuff with a lot of people? Expo seats some 7 deep. Well, got some people with a lot of stuff? LRV is more than enough. Not too big, not too small. Available with all-wheel drive, they'll haul you every day or on a getaway. Expo and Expo LRV. We call them sport wagons, but they're whatever you want them to be. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
Your biggest competitor is working on a proposal for the same job you're after.
You want this to be enlarged?
They have about the same ideas you do.
Copy this slide.
The only difference is...
Let's print it.
They own a Canon color laser copier, and you don't. Who would you give the job to? If you think you can't afford a Canon color laser copier, maybe you can't afford to be without one. Call 1-800-OK-CANON.
Coming to you hot and fresh from Domino's Pizza, Domino's Pepperoni Pizza Feast with extra pepperoni and cheese. Now a medium's just $8.99 or 2 for $12.99.
Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's Pizza right now and you'll be enjoying a hot, delicious pizza when the game is over.
The building has been sold out since July, anticipating the Raiders coming to town. And the Falcons, after leading 7-0, later found themselves down 14-7. Now they've come back with 2 touchdowns and have taken the lead again over Los Angeles, 21-14. A super throw by Chris Miller to Michael Haynes from 46 yards out for the go-ahead touchdown. And now the Falcons go again on offense as Pegram somehow is hit and gets away again and weaves his way ahead to the 38.
Does this guy dress up with Crisco on him somewhere? Nobody can get a real lick on this kid.
Untackleable.
Watch the way he dances his feet. Raiders fans might remember a player that played for the Raiders back in the 70s. His name was Jess Phillips. Well, Jess could do that. He'd be out there for 8 seconds running the ball and gain 1.5 yards. Nobody could get him down.
Can't make a living on those 1.5 yard runners, though.
No.
Pegram was a 6th-round draft choice from North Texas State. Nicknamed the Doctor. And the Doctor is operating still on a 2nd down carry. He's out to the 45-yard line. Tackled by Anthony Smith.
One of the big aspects of the run and shoot or the red gun is that draw. And here's the draw executed perfectly. Anthony Smith's responsibility as the tackle is to make that stop. He does, but not before there's a 1st down pickup. That sprint draw in the run and shoot of the red gun, a very valuable play. Right now is when Atlanta wants time off the clock. Keep possession. 1st down yardage key when you want to keep the possession.
1st down coming up for the Falcons at their 45-yard line. with El Spame, and not even that, as they marked the ball right at the 45. Thomas Benson and Greg Townsend were the tacklers for Los Angeles.
You can see the way they've spread the yardage around amongst the running backs. Last week, Broussard. Week 2, Pegram. Week 1, Jones. They're not settled on a running back. Of course, they got Mike Rozier, who was a holdout in training camp, and he ran some of the run and shoot down in Houston a couple of years ago. So I think they hope eventually there's Rozier right there, number 30. He will eventually be this S back in the red gun.
Falcons looking to control the ball with the power game now. Miller fires in hard and good defense. Coming over the top was Terry McDaniel, the left side cornerback. Raiders head back to the Coliseum, where over 90,000 are expected next Sunday when the 49ers come in.
That ball was intended for Rison, and it looked like Miller was very late in throwing that ball.
Tonight it's the real-life deep-sea adventures of Mark and Brian when they come face-to-face with the jaws of death in a death-defying dive into a shark tank. And here's an eerie update. Kids who can hear the thoughts of dogs on one of the weirdest news shows of the season, Erie, Indiana, followed by 2 great stars and 2 great news shows. James Gardner is a man of the people, and Robert Guillaume stars in Pacific Station. All tonight, followed by the premiere movie of Guilty Till Proven Innocent. Here's a throw and a catch. The ball is lost. Rison had it. Is it a live ball? Ronnie Lott picks it up, and he's going to keep running with it till we decide.
They're treating it as a live ball, Don. What they're calling on the field is it was a catch, a fumble, and a return.
I'm going to get out of the way because I know you take great delight now as we go to the replay.
Terry McDaniel was the guy who made the hit. Now, what the NFL is doing this year is they're making the call on the field, and then the replay official has something to bounce what he sees off of.
Well, Rison certainly chased after the ball. He thought he had it, I think.
I don't think they'll count that as a catch. I mean, that's very, very close, and the Raiders are running the play as quickly as they can. Oh, umpire comes in. Nope, we're going to review this. We can go back and take another look.
They haven't missed one today.
Well, the way Jerry Glanville is beating up on those sideline officials.
Keeps whispering those sweet nothings.
Okay, again.
It's being reviewed by replay. It was ruled a catch and fumble on the field.
So he's got to have both feet down. One. Ball loose. Now, what the replay gentleman has to determine is, was the first foot down? Replay today is Dave Hawk.
I mean, these things are so fine line. It's unbelievable. When you look at it in slow motion,
I agree.
You can't make a determination.
I agree. I agree with you totally. Again, when the ball reaches his hand, he has a little stutter step. Is his left foot on the ground when he catches it? Okay, it's not. Was his right foot on it? Boy, that's tough. You need incontrovertible evidence to overturn a play. I don't know.
11:34 to play in the game. Falcons are in the lead, 21-14, and we're driving.
After further review, the play stands.
Ooh.
Not enough evidence to overturn the call.
Needed that incontrovertible evidence.
Yeah, and Glanville is not complaining that much. He was staring right at the play.
Coach Shell looking on impassively, but you know he's churning inside. Everybody involved in this is, as the Raiders go to the run on first down, and there's nothing there. Tim Green, defensive end number 99, a Rhodes Scholar candidate twice in his years at Syracuse.
Do you remember what Art Shell told us last night about Tim Green and his defensive line? He said, these guys cannot stand here all day and be hammered by our big offensive line. Well, to this point, they've held the Raiders to 50 yards rushing on 19 carries. They have withstood the heavy pounding of this Raider offensive line.
Well, he said a 300-pounder pounded on 260 by the fourth quarter. Something's got to give. It's got to be the smaller guy, but as yet not so far. Green is still making plays. Now the Raiders go to the run, and running with the ball is Marcus Wilson, a name that you've probably not heard because he's not played for the Raiders before that down, at least from scrimmage.
Activated from the practice squad. And they did not expect him to see any activity. A converted defensive back, and he's probably wondering, what am I doing out here?
Well, he he wasn't doing it long. He's coming back out now.
Tim Brown replaces him.
Falcons have done a good job defending the long ball.
Boy, is this a big third down. Raiders today just 4 of 12 on third down. Oh, my goodness.
Schrader needs a big throw now. Third down. The Raiders need 5 for a first down. As the Falcons key the front again. Here comes the rush. Schrader takes a look. Running out of time. There's the throw. Too much on it. Had an open man in Willie Galt. He threw a high fastball that Galt could not control. And now the Raiders have to punt the ball with 9:57 to play.
Deion Sanders right there. Play happens to the right. Everybody drops. It's zone for the Falcons. And he's waiting for Galt. And now watch who comes into the picture here. Deion Sanders. He didn't give him much room to throw that ball to Willie Galt. Jerry Glanville thinks that Deion Sanders is a better cornerback than Lem Barney, formerly of the Detroit Lions back in the 70s. And he said, I thought Lem Barney was the best I ever saw.
He said he was the standard I was judged him by. I saw Deion Sanders, who's ready to run it back from his 9. Special teams play has been outstanding, and yet another marker down. This is it down at the line of scrimmage. A man downfield. Legal man downfield is the signal against the Raiders. They'll punt it again.
Yeah, make them punt it again. Give Deion Sanders another chance. Make that punt coverage team run down under another one.
Does not get any easier for the Falcons next week. They'll go against unbeaten New Orleans here at
67
Atlanta.
illegally downfield on a kicking team. Still 4th down.
Dan Turk was down early.
He's the snapper.
He's made some big plays, though, on special teams. As coming back out to punt the ball again is the veteran Jeff Gossett.
Well, if you're a special teams coach, the Raiders special teams coach does not like this, because your punt coverage team has got to do it again. And if you're the Falcons special teams coach, all right, this is the one. Make them run another 40 yards. We might break one here.
And that brings the bad news in training camp to people who are cut is called the Turk. Dan Turk called for that foul, and now the punt again. It'll be hit downfield. Gossett drives it on a spiral back to Deion Sanders all the way back to the 12-yard line, but there's room for a return. And Sanders is out to the 22-yard line with the Falcons go on offense. First down and 10 with 9:37 to play. A.J. Jimerson was down to make the tackle for the Raiders.
Because if you don't watch your figure, who will?
It's the right field now.
Because when it comes to water, the only place to start is at the top.
It's the right field now.
Because when the party's going full steam, you don't want to fill up. So reach for the beer that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet.
It's the right field now.
When her car needed a new battery, you got the heavy-duty model. When the tires started to wear, you spent a little more for the good ones. And even though the brakes could have made it a while longer, you said replace them. And now that fall's here, you're using Prestone Antifreeze. Its patented formula exceeds every performance standard set for the antifreeze industry. For corrosion and freeze-up protection, Prestone, we make it better than we have to. For some very good reasons.
It's not a wagon, not a van, but whatever you're dragging, Expo can. Introducing Mitsubishi Expo and Expo LRV. Got some stuff with a lot of people? Expo seats some 7 deep. Well, got some people with a lot of stuff? LRV is more than enough. Not too big, not too small. Available with all-wheel drive, they'll haul you every day or on a getaway. Expo and Expo LRV. We call them sport wagons, but they're whatever you want them to be. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles.
Olympic Games come to the city of Atlanta. Right now, the Falcons are holding a 7-point lead over the Raiders in the fourth quarter. Play-action rollout by Chris Miller. Coverage was there, so he had to throw the ball in high. Miller's really sharpened up his passing game as it's worn on. The big strike to throw to Michael Haynes.
First time that rollout at bootleg has not worked for the Falcons today.
As we check the Fram 10-minute ticker. Miami's now gone ahead of Green Bay. Houston getting closer at New England. Cincinnati rallies to tie up the unbeaten Redskins. New Orleans in command. They come in here next Sunday to play the Falcons. And Detroit appears to be sending the Colts down to their 4th straight loss. Detroit had a bad club. Got buried opening day by the Redskins and has won 3 straight now. It will if this whole score holds up. Here is a throw by Miller, almost picked. It is. Ronnie Lott tipped it. Lionel Washington gets it, and he'll take it back to the 30-yard line. So a big turnover now. The Raiders get the ball at the Atlanta 30-yard line with 9 minutes and 23 seconds left to play.
It appears one of the things that's a characteristic of the run and shoot is that the quarterback cannot have a favorite receiver, and it looks like he's tying into Andre Rison. Now, you see Lott drop off in coverage 42, tips the ball. See, Rison is covered. There's no question about that. That brought up some dust. that brought up some dust there.
In this case, some gravel.
Goodness, that was awful close. Did that ball bounce? It's going to be reviewed. See if we can tell here any better. Ball is tipped. No, first thing. Oh, that ball bounced. That ball bounced. Finally, I think the replay is going to rule in Atlanta's favor. Watch again that this ball bounces on the infield here.
I'm not convinced it bounced. Wow. Looks like a catch.
I think that ball hit between his hands. I really do.
Inconclusive. Play stands.
No, incontrovertible. You need incontrovertible. Get the word right now.
Johnny Greer's our man to bring the official verdict.
Here it is.
After further review, the play stands. Interception, Raiders.
We had no incontrovertible evidence.
Well put.
In fact, we didn't have any inconclusive evidence.
Or conclusive. Replay's had a big part in this game, hasn't it?
Now it's first down and 10 for the Raiders, who trail by 7. 21-14, a lot of time to go in the fourth quarter. Handoff, and Marcus Wilson runs the ball. So Marcus Wilson with the Raider running back core depleted. Art Shell was saying, everybody talked about what are you going to do with all those running backs at the start of the season. He said those things have a way of sorting themselves out. With injuries, we don't have enough right now.
Really? I don't know what's wrong with Roger Craig. There's Marcus Allen. He's got a bad knee. Of course, Greg Bell is out. We know about Bo Jackson. So Marcus Wilson is a big man at a crucial part of this game, Don.
Second down and 6 as we have a man leaving early. We'll see if Tim Green was drawn offside by motion in the offensive line. The case.
Offense.
Wilkerson left early.
Top of the screen, a helmet. Yeah, he moved when Tim Green moved.
Veteran Raider team. The Raiders have 17 players in their roster over 30 years of age. Wilson, a 6'1", 200-pound runner from Virginia. 6th-round draft choice in '90 as Schrader throws, and the ball is taken down by Fernandez, but they rule he was out of bounds.
Well, that was a great catch, though.
Was it?
Goodness, that was a great catch. Screen left. I'll direct your attention. Throws it over the linebacker and defensive back. 1 foot down. No, it's on the line. Nice try by Fernandez, but he couldn't get the 2 feet down.
Falcon defense continues to improve under Glanville. The Falcons, counting this game, have now held 5 of their last 6 opponents dating back to last season to 14 points or less. The Raiders right now stuck on 14. They can get 7, they'll tie the game. A stacked formation high to the top of your screen and overload on that side as the Falcons deploy 3 defensive backs. Schrader throws, and he throws it right to an open area of the field. Scott Case was the nearest to it, but there were no white-shirted Raiders around.
Boy, what a defensive game this has been. Both sides come up with big plays. Well, Jaeger now comes in for what I would term a long field goal.
Second half has been tough for the Falcons. They led all 3 previous games at the half and lost 2 of them. Today we were tied at the half, 7-all. There is Jeff Jaeger, a consistent kicker and a good long-range kicker, having another solid year at the University of Washington.
His longest kick this year, 41 yards.
He drives it up right through the middle. A thing of beauty for the Raiders off the foot of Jeff Jaeger, but the Falcons still lead the game, albeit by 4 points now with a long way to go, 8 minutes to play.
Ever since Mitsubishi Motors began 75 years ago, the diamond has been used as the unbending guiding principle of Mitsubishi quality. The name Mitsubishi means 3 diamonds. Now, for its diamond anniversary, Mitsubishi proudly introduces the Diamante, a new luxury performance sedan that is brilliant in every facet. The new Diamante from Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
I can't tell you how it feels when you're way out there on your own tracking the bad guys. How it feels leading a skilled team that's the eyes and ears of the whole outfit. When all your training is coming alive. But finding those tanks and telling the air cavalry right where to hit them, I can tell you exactly how that
feels. In making an artistic statement, one's personal aroma shouldn't do the talking. So I use Right Guard Sport Stick with maximum protection. A true artiste should be known for inspiration, not perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Coming to you hot and fresh from Domino's Pizza, Domino's Pepperoni Pizza Feast with extra pepperoni and cheese. Now a medium's just $8.99 or 2 for $12.99.
Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
The Dolphins, the Jets, rocking the Big Apple next Sunday.
One of the main men in the Raiders offense, Roger Craig, has an irritated shoulder, and it's doubtful he'll play again. We'll see.
The injury to Roger Craig certainly hurts their chances, but what's even worse is a young man named Marcus Wilson, who has no knowledge of this offense, is out there playing running back.
Jaeger, after hitting a long field goal to bring the Raiders back to within 4, kicks off to Deion Sanders. And a big open field tackle as coming down to make the play was Elvis Patterson.
Well, in the second half now, the Falcons have done an excellent job offensively, but they have not protected the ball well. Chris Miller has thrown 2 interceptions, obviously drive-killing interceptions that have given the Raiders a chance. This offense now of the Atlanta Falcons leading by 4 with 7:50 left. They need to tighten things up here. Chris Miller certainly does. Is June Jones well aware of that, standing on the Falcons sideline?
Falcons want to run some clock if they can. And they go to Pegram, who's been so consistent getting positive yards when seemingly nothing's been there. This time he puts his head down and lunges for only a yard. So the Raider defense wins first down. It's 2nd and 9.
And this is what you don't like to see. A 2nd and 9 situation turns that Raider defense loose. Now again, one thing the Falcons have done with some success is the bootleg by the quarterback, hitting either the tight end or the running back.
Off the line of scrimmage now as Miller goes with the long count, stands in. Here comes that rush. Miller's on the loose. Chris Miller, first down, Atlanta. Nice move.
Scott Davis finally makes the tackle, but he does a good job on number 50, Ricky Ellison. Very smart choice here by Chris Miller, not taking a chance with the football. Now watch the move he puts on Ricky Ellison, and then runs right by him. Notice the defensive end back to make the tackle. Again, you pick up Ellison, top of the picture. Now watch this move. Very nice.
Miller, just 26 years old earlier this month. Directing his team flawlessly at this point. As the handoff and the carry by Keith Jones, resulting in a hard stick by Thomas Benson, 54.
This is no time to lose your cool, gentlemen. 15-yard penalties at this stage of the game are very stupid.
Falcons taking time off the clock as Coach Glanville checks the ticker, and it's down to 5:50 and running. Atlanta 21, Raiders 17. Falcons with 2nd down and 9 coming up.
Again, that's 2nd down, 2nd and 9. When you get 1 yard on 1st down, it's not good. It puts a lot of pressure on your offense.
Raider pass rushers dig in to tee off. There's the handoff to Pegram, and Townsend, number 93, coming from right end, makes the knockdown for a loss. So now 3rd down comes up, 3rd and 10. Greg Townsend, a Pro Bowler last January.
This Raider defense is designed for Greg Townsend to make a lot of plays on the pass rush, in the running game, and there are a lot of sacrificial defensive linemen in that Raider organization. Howie Long, Scott Davis, they're there to free things up for Townsend to make the tackles, and he does.
A 4-point deficit, though, that's a big number. Raiders, if they get it back, would have to score a touchdown. 4:40 to play, clock running. On 3rd and 10, Miller takes a look. A throw, and the ball skips off his receiver, incomplete. There is a penalty marker down back at the quarterback, and a holding call is signaled against the Falcons.
Legal use of the hands, hands to the face, it looked like. They'll turn down the penalty, make it 4th down, and again the Falcon offense could not sustain a drive.
Illegal hands to the face.
Yep.
69 offense. It's declined. 4th down.
Houston Hoover.
Lionel Washington, who had that interception that led to the last score, a field goal, helped off. Here's the snap now. Bullhead punts the ball. It's not too long. Tim Brown will run it back from his 27, 30, 35, 40, 45, and out to the 47-yard line. So with 4:24 to play and needing a touchdown to go ahead, the Raiders start this drive in good field position at their 47-yard line.
One of the things that the Falcons are doing is making Tim Brown go sideways to catch these punts, but he does get by a couple of guys. Nice tackle by the Falcons, Joe Fishback, to get Tim Brown down, but excellent field position now for the Raiders. They've not produced a lot of offense in this 2nd half, but they are in a game-winning drive situation here. See what the character of the Los Angeles Raiders has in store for us, Don. This is what Al Davis hires these guys for. Win it in this situation.
Deep drop on 1st down and 10. Long throw. Fernandez is open, and the ball is tipped away. Ken Tippins came back and tipped the ball away. Mervin Fernandez was wide open at the 30-yard line. Wide open.
A lot of Falcon linebackers have been in the perfect spot today, haven't they? We've seen about 5 or 6 tip passes, and if they're not tipped, are receptions by Raiders receivers today. Tippins on that tip.
The Raiders with a downfield throw on first down, and again they find themselves now with 2 downs to get 10. Schrader, a throw and a completion, and a penalty marker is down. Tim Brown caught the ball at the 46-yard line of Atlanta. Holding Raiders.
That Falcon defensive line has really given this offensive line fits. There's Al Davis sitting there not happy with this offensive line's performance to this point in the season, Don, not just today.
Holding. 73 offense. Still second down.
That's Fitzpatrick on the hold and replacing Max Montoya, who's out with that full groin muscle. He's only 320 pounds.
They've all got a pass block now as the Raiders have the ball. Second down and 20 all the way back to their 37-yard line. They trail in the game by 4 points. Raider lets it go long. Tim Brown's going for the ball. Tim Brown, no foul call. The coverage is ruled right on time, but despite the protests of Brown, Tim McKyer, stride for stride, very close to a penalty. It turns out to be perfect coverage.
Brown's on the outside. You see the drop-off. Excuse me, on the inside, you see the drop-off by McKyer. A little bump by Jordan that's allowed. McKyer's looking for the ball. The officials are going to allow contact like that when both are looking at the ball. Obviously, those people in Los Angeles say, come on, that's obviously interference.
Is it even better one?
Incidental contact is called. They're both looking at the ball.
Brown veered out going for the ball. McKyer did his job exceptionally well. Now, third down and 20 for the Raiders.
Timeout, Falcons. Another strange choice by Jay Schrader, though. On second down and 20, he goes for the distance.
And now let's check the Fram 10-minute ticker. The Giants have held on to beat the Browns 13-10. Miami with a victory, the 300th career for Coach Shula, a 3-point winner over Green Bay. The Eagles get their 3rd win of the season, defeating the Steelers today at Philadelphia. Houston rallies from behind to beat New England, or to lead New England 20-17 in the 4th quarter. And Washington holds to a 7-point win over Cincinnati. 7-point lead. New Orleans a shutout winner over Minnesota. So the Saints on a roll, 4-0. And Detroit, after losing its opener, wins its 3rd game while the Colts fall to 0-4.
And back to this game at hand, 3rd down and 20. I have no idea what you go to here, because the Raiders, they haven't really thrown the ball in the intermediate range that much. It's either short or it's very deep. Robisky there on the left, he calls the plays with the good graces of Art Shell, the head coach.
Third down, and the Raiders need 20. Big rush is a-coming. Schrader on the run. Fires, he makes the connection, and is going to go for a first down. Wow. As Tim Brown, All-American from Notre Dame, makes the big play. He adjusted his pattern when he saw Schrader in trouble, and a terrific play by Jay Schrader, the former UCLA Bruin, who makes his most important throw of the day, perhaps, to keep a drive alive.
Brian Mitchell, the man who makes the tackle. He's the man in coverage, but great foot speed by Tim Brown. Look at the hand fighting. Pulls himself by that defensive back. Schrader finds himself open and gets the ball to Brown. Huge play on a 3rd and 20. They pick up about 30.
3 minutes and 56 seconds to play. Falcons 21, Raiders 17. First down, Los Angeles, 36-yard line of Atlanta. Pitch back to Marcus Wilson. And Wilson fights his way down to the 30-yard line. The Raiders have to take it in. They're down by 4. Field goal this late probably wouldn't help.
Again, if you tuned in, you're wondering why Marcus Wilson is out there on the field. Roger Craig out with a bad shoulder.
Jerry Glanville, who was so animated, never stopped talking to the officials in the first half. Now, somber, looking on, hoping his defense can hold. Good play call for Schrader. He hasn't had many in this position. 2nd down and 4. He just checks off, make sure everybody's in sync. 2nd down and 4. Marcus Wilson protecting the ball, breaks through for a Raider first down.
Who is this guy?
Marcus Wilson was a 6th-round draft choice out of Virginia in 1990. As you said, he came off the practice squad.
I mean, Al Locasal, Al Davis's executive assistant, walks up to us yesterday and said, "Oh, by the way, we activated Marcus Wilson. Oh, by the way."
Only when we saw number 40 running on the field and asked who it was.
Oh, by the way, this kid's been the most crucial drive of the game at running back.
Pitch back. Marcus Wilson. First down, the Falcon defense upends him at the 20-yard line. And the game clock comes down close now to the 2-minute warning.
Oh, by the way, we've activated Marcus Wilson.
He was actually with the Colts last season. Raiders got him as a free agent last April.
I believe this kid was drafted as a defensive back. Oh, by the way.
Listed as a safety. Well, he's our new favorite guy in the moment because getting the ball every down. As Al Davis has some words for his good dear friend Sam Berkovitz.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes, the 1972 playoff.
It's down to one big play.
It is called the Immaculate Reception, the most famous fantastic finish in pro football history.
Looking for somebody to throw to, fires it downfield. And there's a collision. It's caught out of the air. The ball is pulled in by Franco Harris. Harris is going for a touchdown for Pittsburgh. Franco Harris holding the football. I don't even know where it came from.
Recycling aluminum beverage cans can help save money, since they're worth more at recycling centers than at curbside pickup. Save energy, since they have more recycled content. They save landfill space, since more than 63% of all aluminum cans made are recycled. Yes, recycling aluminum cans saves more of a lot of things, which helps save one more thing. Aluminum beverage cans. Why in the world would you buy anything else?
In Japan, where the luxury performance sedan has been revolutionized by Lexus and Infiniti, a new luxury performance sedan has just won Japan's highest honor. Introducing the new Diamante from Mitsubishi, Japan's car of the year. Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
Next weekend, a great golf tradition comes to NBC. Payne Stewart and Paul Azinger lead the U.S. against Europe's best, including Seve Ballesteros and Ian Woosnam. The pride of yesterday and the pride of today in an unrivaled testimony to golf. The Ryder Cup on NBC.
Some years ago when the Raiders played in Oakland, a newspaper there took a survey of Raider fans. What do you like best about Raider football? One guy responded, the last 2 minutes. We come now to the last 2 minutes. The game on the line. The Falcon defense looking to hold.
That's when Ken Stabler was the quarterback there.
2nd down and 9 for Schrader in the Raider offense. Here come the Falcons. 4-man rush. Throw. And the receiver, Tim Brown, turning out. Protest. He was held by McKyer. Official right there says no. And now 3rd down and 9 comes up. And the Raiders down by 4 have to get it in. Jerry Robisky signaling plays in from the sideline. Jerry Glanville, who calls all the offenses and defenses. Might be letting Jesse Tuggle call the defenses now as on-field captain. 3rd and 9. They go to the run. And the Falcons weren't buying it. They went right for it. Left to play. This is Don Prickey with Bob Trumpy. We watch those of you who've been watching the Steelers and the Eagles. Philadelphia 23-14 winner. We're at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, and a huge down is coming up now as quarterback Jay Schrader of the Raiders goes to the sideline for some counsel. He's down maybe to a last throw. 4th down and 12 coming up. The ball on the Falcons' 23-yard line. 1:43 to play, and Atlanta leads the game 21-17. Trump?
Interesting call on that last play. They had 3rd down and 9, and they go with what appears to be a draw up the middle. It did not fool the Atlanta Falcons at all. This is Marcus Wilson as the running back. Oliver Barnett, number 72, makes the hit. Strange call, Don. The lone setback. They go with the draw, and he gets hammered by Oliver Barnett.
The game could hinge on this play. There's the headbutt, which has become part of Falcon football. A congratulatory headbutt. 4th down and 12. Raiders have to convert. Throw to the end zone. Won't be close. Intercepted by McIyer.
Looking at was the guy in the end zone, 83.
Willie Gault. He had no chance at the ball, but McIyer does.
Double coverage. They had 4th and 12, and he throws it in the end zone. McIyer makes a whale of an interception, and boy, there's a certain amount of desperation in that. Watch Schrader. He doesn't look underneath. He is only looking at the corner of the end zone. I question that choice. I mean, you need a first down.
I'm sure he does now, but there's no turning back as the Falcons have the ball on a 4-point lead. In a game which they say is the pivotal game of the Glanville era. This is the game when the Falcons thought they could come of age by beating the team that Glanville would like his Falcons to emulate. The Raiders, 1:31 to play, and a timeout on the field as there was no gain on a first down carry.
It was a good day for ideas. Plans for a sidewalk cafe were finalized. A river walk was proposed. And someone had the vision to bring luxury and romance back to train travel. Keep those ideas coming, and we'll keep making them look their best. LaserJet printers from Hewlett-Packard.
Shell, 15 years a Raider, an all-pro tackle, and now the coach has lived through so many of these finishes. The Falcons in command at the moment, but it's not over yet. Schrader could get another chance. Atlanta 21, Los Angeles 17 with 1:31 to go. There's actually a loss of a yard on that first down carry, and now it is 2nd down and 11. Raiders have 1 timeout left. Another run. Pegram fights his way to the 25-yard line. Another timeout signal for with 1:25 to play. So with a break in the action on the Raider timeout, their final one, we'll pause for this word.
If your face were square, shaving would be simple. If your face were flat, any razor would do. But your face has curves. You need the revolutionary Schick Tracer, the first razor with a blade that flexes to trace every curve on your face. Compared to other razors, Tracer puts more of the blade edge against your skin. For real faces, just like yours. Tracer from Schick traces every curve on your face.
And now we'll take a look at the Canon camcorder replay of the game.
This was the interception. Jay Schrader's looking only at the end zone, not for the first down. He wants the 6. Double coverage. Scott Case inside, McKyer outside, and McKyer makes the interception. Falcons take over.
Now a big down, though, as the Raiders are out of timeouts. 3rd down and a long 5. Miller with a rollout, a play fake, and a throw, a catch, and a first down for the Falcons as he swings the ball out to Mike Pritchard, the rookie from Colorado.
Game over.
And he's all the way out to the 48-yard line, and now the Falcons are in position to run out the clock.
That rollout has worked all day long. Excellent ball by Jerry Glanville or June Jones or whoever.
And a good play by Pritchard.
Totally uncovered. Lewis is the closest man, number 21. Finally, Anthony Smith makes the tackle. And Chris Miller, stay in bounds. Stay in bounds. Well, now there are a lot more believers in the wannabes, the Atlanta Falcons. They wanna be the Los Angeles Raiders.
And now the Falcons go to that knee to the turf offense. Miller takes the snap, one knee down, and the Raiders out of timeouts. Watch the game ebb away. So the Falcons, in the game that they call the most important of the Glanville era and one of the most important in the franchise history, prevail over the Raiders, the team they'd like to be like and certainly became a great deal more like, winning in the end 21-17. The Raiders now fall to 2-2 in the AFC West.
Offensive line did not dominate today for the Raiders. Defensive line played well. But running back, they are really hurt. They get Nick Bell back next week with Marcus Allen out, with Roger Craig out. Look at that road record under Art Shell.
They're up and cheering. If the Braves ever take it in the NL West, this time will be up for grabs. Final score, Falcons win it 21-17 over the Raiders. We'll be back to Atlanta after this.
Some men would rather live their lives sheltered in the harbor, and some would rather sail into life with the unmistakable scent of Old Spice. Clean, true, and classic. Old Spice, one of the legends of the sea.
Good things continue to happen in Atlanta as the Falcons score one of their most important wins in a long time, beating the Raiders 21-17. In a year when the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, great university located nearby to Fulton County Stadium, shared the national championship in college football with Colorado. The Olympic Games coming here in 1996. The Atlanta Braves last a year ago, fighting it out with the Dodgers, trying to win the NL West. Braves down by a half game after last night's defeat. But there's a big victory to celebrate today in Atlanta as we look at a very important play at the close of the Raiders offense.
This one will certainly be examined heavily by those people in Los Angeles. You can see he's only looking in the end zone. And there is no way that Willie Gault can be termed open here. He would have to make a Hall of Fame catch. And he does not. McKyer, an excellent interception, and turns the ball over to the Falcons, and they run out the clock to win the game 21-17.
NFL Live is coming up. We'll be switching very shortly to New York for a complete update on everything that happened on this 4th Sunday of play, as we have a couple of unbeatens continuing in the NFL through 4 weeks of play. And the Falcons, after losing their first 2 games, they had a 1-point loss in their opener here at home to the Minnesota Vikings, a game they really felt they should have won. Then they were beaten at Kansas City. They came back to win their first road game in 19 tries the last Sunday at San Diego. Now they come home to beat the Raiders, a game they've been waiting for since the schedule was announced. For Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui. The final score, the Falcons 21, the Raiders 17. Right now, stay tuned for the Shure Pro Stick NFL Report.